You ever order so much crap online that a package comes to your house and you don't know what it is?
Yes.
I had a package apparently came today while I was at work, and my wife was asleep. She couldn't get up and get to the door fast enough for FedEx. They left one of the little sticky notes saying, "Hey, we were here. It needs a signature." And I talked to her while I was at work, and she was like, "Yeah, there's a package that came by that needs a signature." And like my mind was doing like trigonometry. I was like, "What the fuck did I order that requires a signature?"
Yeah.
It never ceases to amaze me. I don't know what all stipulations incur or come about that require signature for things, because I've had to sign for like a box of socks before. Like, what the hell? Just drop the box off, dude. I've had like, $300 or $400 worth of electronics just left on my stoop. But I got to sign for, $30 worth of socks. Okay.
Captain Kidd!
Yeah, Captain Kidd. That's right. That's a Persona 5 reference, folks. So yeah, like I'm looking through order histories of like Amazon and other places I order stuff, and I'm like, what the hell have I? What I see these 2 or 3 orders I have out there, but none of them would require a signature that I would think. You would think that a signature would be something from another country. I get those, or maybe like a super high priced item. But I guess it also is just if the seller / shipper requests a signature. Mm-hmm. But it's more of trying to get my head around the. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Oh well, we shall see.
Yeah, typically that's.
Go ahead.
That's more for like eBay stuff. We'll do that sometimes. Other than Amazon. Amazon doesn't do it unless it's really expensive.
Yeah. The cool thing is, I think UPS has had this as well. They leave the sticker there, and it's like, if you just sign this and leave it, back on your door, we'll drop the package off. Mm-hmm. Like, you don't have to go through the rigmarole, which is good, man. It's going to get into something that I'm going to talk about in my freaking week. But the older I get and the more my mind is going 4 different ways with this. So I had a discussion earlier this year with somebody. I don't even know how we got on the subject, but we were talking about millennials. And apparently, go figure, I apparently am a millennial. I think millennials started in like 80 and 81, and I was born in 82. So, granted, this is all a grain of salt, man. I treat this shit like parties for, what am I saying? Political parties. Mm-hmm. Like, I have a whole lot to say about political parties and grouping people together in what you are, but taking millions upon millions of people and lumping them all together, Americans, and lumping them together in the same mentality based on what year they were born. That's just some generalization that it doesn't bode well with me. It doesn't sit well with me. You might as well just call me a fucking nerd just because I play video games. Like, stereotypes they're not always the greatest thing in the world to do. But there is part of the millennial mentality that I do take advantage of every chance I get, and that's just the interconnected nature of people via the internet, especially when it comes to goods.
Sure.
I don't know how far me and my wife would ever get into it, but I guarantee that if you asked us if we could go online and point and click the groceries we wanted and have them delivered to us for a reasonable fee, we would probably do that.
So we totally did that last week.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, our local Walmart, they've partnered with DoorDash, I believe it is.
Mm-hmm.
So we got our groceries delivered.
Chris, man, take the mic, sir. Tell me how this went. What was it like? How did it, goods, bads? Tell us. So I'm interested.
We've typically used, since Walmart started doing it, their online ordering, and you just pick up all your groceries. They load your car up for you, which is great. You just literally drive up, pop your trunk or, back seat, depending on your vehicle, whatever it is. They load it up. You never have to get out of your car. Wow. I normally do just to make sure stuff is at least somewhat situated, because nobody can ever Tetris, the trunk properly like I can.
Ain't that the damn truth?
So frustrating. Or they'll put sodas loose in the trunk. It's like, why could you not put those in a bag? They don't even have handles. I get with milk. Okay, it's a gallon of milk, has a handle. Fine. Okay. Yeah. I still prefer a bag just for ease of carrying multiple things at once, but that makes sense.
That's the point of it.
But when I have 6 2-liters, why would you not bag them? 2 per bag, call it good. 3 if you're feeling, adventurous and double bag it. But so frustrating. Anyway, so we've done that for a while. It's a little bit awkward having groceries delivered. Because I've used Prime Now, and that's typically just like a brown bag full of stuff size. It's not, like a full grocery order, like, $100 of groceries. But it was kind of awkward. The person is going back and forth with Walmart bags of stuff to your place. And I live in an apartment, so they have to be buzzed in and stuff. What I actually did was I have a little flat dolly thing, and I put a storage container and I just wheeled it out towards the outside door, so it could just be loaded up, and I just pulled it all inside.
Nice.
Trying to reduce the number of trips, but it's a little bit awkward with that much stuff. But they also have like a $50 minimum, so you're going to have a decent amount of stuff anyway.
Oh yeah, I mean, if we go grocery shopping, it's grocery shopping for 2 weeks, so yeah.
Yeah, we're pretty much weekly. Yeah, so it wasn't bad.
Price, was it, I mean, if you wish to disclose, like, do they charge you like so much per cent you spend, or is it just a flat rate? It's going to be this amount extra over the groceries, or what's the delivery fee like?
Well, technically, I think they advertise it as free delivery.
What?
That's something that Walmart is doing on their side. I mean, just like with their online pickup, I mean, that's free. They have
Chris,
to compete.
Shitting me right now.
Yeah, they have to compete with all these other places.
So you're telling me that me and my wife could go to Walmart.com, shop, and pick out all the items like we do, just like when we're going to the store. Click buy, check out, select the delivery time. They come delivery, and if we spent $300 on groceries, that's all we spend.
I believe so.
Wow, man! I'm telling you, me and her are gonna have a talk when she gets home.
Now, granted, it may not be down there yet.
Right.
We just got it up here.
Well, even that, we have the main Walmart that we do go grocery shopping at. We do have they do have the curbside pickup deal. And it's gonna be. Excuse me. There's some reasons why we probably won't do any of it anyway. Maybe if the delivery thing comes around, maybe we would probably be swayed to do it. But we shop on base and we shop at the commissary. So I mean, that alone, I think I mentioned this before in another episode, but that's chunked anywhere from $50 to $100 every trip off of our bills. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but even so. This is where this folds back into what even got this whole thing started. It's the price for convenience. Like, what am I, as a grown man and a grown wife and a grown woman with her, that our money, what is our money worth, that we say, okay, from the time that if this is how anal I get about this. If we are going grocery shopping, I start my mental clock from the time that we go, all right, let's get ready. So we got to fucking maybe not, take a shower, take baths, brush teeth, get dressed, get shit together, drive all the way there, do the shopping, pay for it, get the shit loaded up in the car, drive all the way back home, and then disperse all the groceries. Yep. So if I'm taking out everything I just said, with the exception of unload the groceries at the house. That's for me and her to decide as grown, bill-paying, working, we do what the fuck we want with our money individuals. What are we willing to pay for? Like, are we willing to spend an extra $20, $40? To me, that 2.5, potentially 3 hours out of a day, you better believe it's worth it.
Yeah.
We pay, I think, do you pay to have your grass mowed, Chris?
I'm in an apartment, so no, not right now.
Oh,
but I did
okay. Well,
before.
that's never right. So there we go. I have lots of people around me, and again, we don't have kids yet. Whenever I do, my son will be mowing my lawn, because I had to do it. But, yeah, I have a lawn mower, and yes, I have a weed eater, and it is nothing above me to mow and weed eat my own yard. It takes me from the time that I get dressed to the time that I hop out of the bath I need afterwards, a total of around 2 hours flat to do all that. Fuck that. I pay the $35 every other week, a little more than every other week, and somebody comes out here and does it for me. And people look at me like I'm crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I would not do that if I could not afford it. You know,
Right.
that $35 is not me looking at my wife and going, well, I know you really like to have the extra nice steaks for dinner or whatever, but we're not going to have what you want because I don't want to mow the lawn. No, it's just we can afford it. It's in our budget to do it.
Yeah.
So same thing comes with these groceries, man. I'm telling you, Chris, you better believe 2.5, potentially 2.5 to 3 hours of a day, any day, whether it's a day off or a day after work. I would definitely pay $35-$40 to have somebody bring this stuff to me. You know, that's maybe 15 to 20 minutes of you and your partner, or just you, whatever, sitting in front of a computer going, click, yes, add to cart, click, add to cart, click, add to cart. And then you just wait. When they get here, you put the groceries away. I've now shaved, instead of 3 hours, maybe half an hour to 45 minutes tops. Worth it to me.
Yeah.
This is the age that we live in, and this is the thing that, you know, this is kind of a millennial mentality that, yeah, I do attach to. Depending on what it is, it's all situational. But I'll take things like that and weigh the pros and the cons, because as an older guy, as a person, period, once you're out of high school and you have responsibilities that you have to take care of, job, marriage, children, maybe second job, college. Buddy, I have one job right now and I'm not in school and I have no kids, and still my time is valuable to me. You know, I know when I get home from work, I've got from the time that I sit down and can relax until about probably 10:30, 11 o'clock before it's time to go to sleep. Everything in that time period is valuable to me. So if I can remove 3 hours and give them back to me and my wife, oh, yes.
Yep.
I love it. I love it. It's not, to me, that mentality is not, that's not a millennial mentality. I think that needs to be attributed to just laziness. We can mow our own lawn, man. We can go shopping and get our own groceries. We can do all these things. But if I've done it long enough and I know how to do it, like I could see if you've never done it, maybe that's, you know, just go experience it and be a societal person, I guess. I guess learning to do your own shopping is kind of important.
Yeah.
Sorta. But yeah, man, if you can afford it and it's within your budget means to do it, yeah. There's what else? We have down here a food delivery system called Waitr. It's WAITR. And it's designed to, this is a genius idea, super genius idea, but it's a company that has people that are basically like Uber drivers, but they're for food. You put an order in to fucking name a place, McDonald's, and you say you want the fucking large number 2 with fries and a fucking chocolate milkshake and 2 apple pies, and somebody else goes and picks up your order, pays for it, and drives it to your house. And I want to say that there's like a delivery fee already attached to it, with the incentive of if you want to tip more, you can.
Yeah,
I'll go ahead.
I'm not really a huge fan of it. I like it in principle, but all the ones we've used, they do have a delivery fee, and also the prices are typically higher as well. So they're kind of like double dipping the delivery fee. So I'm not as much of a fan of that. Not for small purchases. Big stuff, sure.
Yeah.
But
right.
Yeah.
So there have been times where my wife and I both have been, and even just the place that we live at now in comparison, we're maybe like 4 or 5 minutes closer to our eateries and shopping centers and whatnot. So it's really first world laziness if we're like, I don't want to go to Subway, even though it's like a 4-minute drive away. But there have been times, man, where it's both of us it's a fucking hard day's work. We're home, we're relaxing, we're on the verge of falling asleep, and it's like she doesn't want to cook. I'm not gonna make her cook just because and we're both like, I want to eat, but I don't want to get up and go. You go get some food. No, you go get some food. No, let's go together. No, I don't want to go. And we're both like, man, I'm telling you, I would pay $20 for that $10 meal right now because I don't feel like going anywhere. That's not something we would use all the time. We can't use it yet because we're on the cusp. We're on the edge of, we're sorry, they can't deliver to you.
Yeah.
And apparently it's not just like, it's not like an internet or phone provider where, you're outside of a range. It's also like individual restaurants that they can and cannot deliver to. I think when you put your zip code in or your address in, they will give you, based on where you live, like a laundry list of places that you can and cannot get stuff delivered from. I mean, we just, for whatever reason, we just don't have any. So we haven't utilized it yet. We can get some basic shit delivered out here like Domino's and Papa John. We can get pizza delivered out here.
Yeah.
That's about it. But yeah, I mean, it's just, that's grown people decisions. That's individual decisions. And I don't think it always applies to just laziness. If you're using shit like this and it's fees out the ass, and this is something you could look at and go, okay, you know what? We're getting behind on bills or debt's piling up. All right, let's not do delivery no more. Let's go old school and go shopping for groceries. I can totally get that. But at the same time, I love the idea, man. That's a solid thing, and I'll totally use it. Totally. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the end of time. I'm Michael.
I'm Chris.
Oh, man. I think you had last week start off with, Chris? I think.
I don't remember.
I think it was, but whatever. Doesn't fucking matter.
That was 7 days
I'll
ago.
go first. Yeah, I know, right? For real. Dude, I put this on Facebook the other day. I am such a fucking normal person now, man.
Oh, yeah. I saw that.
Because... Okay, so for the audience out there that wants to know a little bit more behind the scenes, in real life story shit about me, I'll try to keep it brief. But for the past, excuse me, the past decade or more, I want to say, actually, no, about 14 years plus now, ever since I started college back in 2005, my work schedule has either been a night shift schedule or random spread about schedule. When I worked as a server, I always worked night shifts because I went to school during the day and I waited tables at night. So I was used to having a, 5 p.m. till, I did a pretty good job of asking management and staying on top of myself to where I could get out at like 10, 11 o'clock instead of me getting out at 1 or 2 and being home, yada, yada, yada. So, but typically I was a night owl. Also combined with the fact that I was in college and, I didn't have school every single day, and not all of my classes started at 8. Some of them started at 10 and yada, yada, yada. So I fully transitioned from a construction worker that gets up at, 5 o'clock, gets on site at 6:30 and gets off at, 4:30, 5 o'clock after a long hot day's work, to waiting tables in an air conditioned restaurant and then keeping a night mentality. That kept for many years of my life. I'm going to say it was partially my fault because I didn't want to move, but the job situation down here where I live, for the degree that I went for, was not promising jobs at all. And so I had to stick waiting tables for a long time. Like, I really, really, really kept the mentality of being a night person. When I went for a management job, I mean, that schedule pretty much went out the window as well, because a management job is, we're open 7 days a week and you're either going to work the night shift or you're going to work the morning shift. So, again, I was fortunate that apparently other managers around me didn't want to work nights. And I was like, I'm already a night person anyway. I love working nights. So I always work nights. But again, for the past 14 years, I've mentally been a night person. So it was nothing for me to stay up till 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning and wake up at 11, 12 o'clock, have a couple hours of time, and then go to work, be at work at 4 o'clock. Like, that's how my mentality was. When I'm with the military on active duty orders, I'm on the day shift, as 90% of people in my group are, and it's I'm there at 7 in the morning, and I leave at 3:45, 4 o'clock, and I'm Monday through Friday, 7 to 4, basically. I've got this fucking normal shift, and I'm with everybody else where we're looking for the day to be over. That not really so much that, but looking forward to afternoons and having the general complaint of, I can't do anything that I need to during the day, like medical appointments or vehicle maintenance or anything that business related during the day, because I work during the day. Looking forward to weekends, like having weekends off when I do, having a Friday and a Saturday off. So everybody around me that's like, woo, the weekend. I'm like, yeah, weekend, woo. When I'm like, I'm so not used to this, man. It's so weird. I don't mind the work at all. Like, I've always been a worker, so the grind throughout the week doesn't bother me. It's just so funny when I wake up on Saturday or Friday and I'm like, yay, once I get through the day, the weekend's here. And I'm like, oh, shut up, you normal fucking asshole. Like, you're just like everybody else now, It has its ups and downs. I think the biggest drawback for me is the not being able to take care of shit during the day. You make an appointment somewhere, anywhere, and they're like, well, sir, our hours are 8 o'clock in the morning until 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It's like, yeah, about that.
Yep.
So, we got a holiday coming up this weekend. Woo, I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully I don't have to work and I can get 3 days off.
3-day
and I
weekend
can actually
for me.
enjoy it. Yep. My wife's got a 4-day weekend. That daggone little so-and-so.
I thought about taking Tuesday off.
Yeah, she's got Friday, and a lot of everybody around me is too. All this week. I don't know, man. I'm just trying to figure out which I'm going to take and which they'll let me. I'm either taking Friday or I'm taking Tuesday. There's some people that have taken the whole week off. They got that leave to burn.
Yeah.
I'm not that fortunate, and I'm not ready to take my leave just yet. So, I'm trying my best to save my leave for the trip to Disney coming up in November, December with me and my wife.
Nice.
Hopefully, I'd like to be on orders all the way through then, so I'll actually have the leave.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. So let me go ahead and reverse this truck. Beep, beep, beep. So the audience will wake up because they don't fucking care about my work situation. I know you don't. before we do actually roll into weeks, do we have any well actuallys from last week? I think there was another. I actually have a well actually from. Actually, you know what? I don't know. Chris, did I ever talk about watching the Castlevania Netflix series on here? Does this sound familiar to you? I don't think I did. Well, that's definitely a well actually from almost a month ago. I did watch that. That was part of stuff that I watched, and that's highly relative to this podcast for me because it's a fucking video game show. I think it's only the first season was only 4 episodes long, and they definitely to prepare anybody that's going to watch this, it's got damn good voice acting. It's got really good animation. I mean, it's basically an anime stylized version of the Castlevania origin story. I will admit that I am not completely 100% knee deep in the Castlevania lore. So if this was I don't know if this was just a retelling of the origin of Dracula and the Belmont clan, or if this was like a new version of it. I'm not sure, but it's definitely slower paced because almost every episode kind of leaves in sort of a cliffhangery type deal. It's not episode something's happening, something's finished, the end. It tells the story. It tells basically an origin story all the way through all 4 episodes. I binge watched all 4 of them right back to back to back. It was pretty good. It was very cool. It wasn't the greatest thing in the world, but it definitely wasn't bad either. I was kind of skeptical, watching some video game adaptation. I'm always like, okay, yeah. But it was pretty good. Had a lot of good moments in it. The voice acting is phenomenal.
That's good to hear.
Even for a dub, I'm still my old anal asshole self where I try my best to just watch Japanese language English subtitles. Yeah. But someday there will be an anime that comes across my desk and I watch it and the dub will be really good and I'll start watching them that way. But in any event, yeah, it's just really short and sweet. I watched the Castlevania Netflix anime series and it was pretty good. They have a second season coming out, and I think, without looking it up, I want to say it's in December of this year. That could be wrong, but I do know there is a second season coming. And yeah, sure. I mean, I treat this kind of the same way that Sonic Mania cartoon. Yeah, if it's done good, please bring us more of this. And that's also, I guess, an addition I'll mention. It's not really a well actually, but I don't know if they have stopped. I don't know if they're just, because these Sonic Manias get kind of drip fed over time, but I am fully up to date on all those. Every time a new one comes out, I watch it. And man, it's such a good thing. That show, man, the Sonic Mania and that little cartoon combined, that just puts Sonic where it needs to be. The fact that the Sonic Mania cartoon is silent and it's just using sound effects and music keys to enunciate what's going on. It's so simple. And that's how Sonic Mania is to me as well. It's so simple and it kind of purifies the formula for what I feel Sonic should be. And I mean, the fucking game does a great job of that. That is a Sonic fan going, yeah, I am a true diehard Sonic fan and I can show you what people want. And you compare it next to Sonic 06 or Sonic the Dark Knight or Shadow the Hedgehog and you go, I see what you guys were going for, but we don't want that. We don't really want that. Yeah. Sonic Mania is a good thing, and I love the little cartoon as well. So getting to see the Castlevania Netflix series and getting to watch the Sonic Mania cartoon shorts, it's good stuff, man. These are like beacons for other companies and other content creators. Haha, topical. That if you want to make stuff that's truly like to the heart, a tribute and trying to capture the essence, look to these two because they give us what we need. Any actuallys from last week you can think of, Chris?
No, I don't think so.
Me either. Any, what about news? Anything slide across the desk?
Well, there is one pretty big thing in the gaming world right now.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it. Yeah, we're going to talk about it.
Sure. I mean, why not? I watched it. Did you watch it?
Well, we may be talking about two different things.
Okay. Well, what I'm talking about is the Cyberpunk 2077 gameplay stream.
Oh, okay. I have not watched that yet. Please fill me in.
So, I am curious, and I meant to research this before we started. I forgot about it, but I don't know if this is the gameplay that was shown at E3 behind closed doors or not.
Uh-huh.
I think it was around the right length, and it had that there was actually a narrator talking about, like, this is early footage, this is what's happening now. We're showing off this system and this system. So it seemed like it was, kind of designed for press types and, that kind of feel to it, which is also works great for consumer perspective because it's a well done, I'm trying to think how to put this. It is a good way to explain to the consumer what exactly is going on with the game, especially for something that's this hype, for a lot of people. I didn't really jump up when I heard it was 83. I don't know anything about the history of the game. No, I guess there is an old one. I never played it, but it's a big deal to a lot of people. And the way they narrated it did a lot to kind of address concerns before they ever pop up.
Yeah.
So the video basically started you out. I think they said it was early game, not like the beginning, but one of the first like side mission type things, where it starts you out pretty much in the action of stuff, rescuing this enhanced person, and then they go back and show you kind of the cityscape, the area you're in, the NPCs, and how they work, because they basically said, NPCs have a life, essentially, where they have for 24 hours a day, there's something they're going to be doing. And when you do things, it will impact the city around you, and it progressed the story a little bit. It's like, all right, that last job's done, time to move on to the next job. And they showed a little bit of that. It's really worth watching if you're interested in it at all. But they were moving on to the next job, and then it showed, okay, well, there's branching paths. You determine what you're going to do at this point. You can go do this, or this, or this, or just go straight to your destination. There's things you can do on the side to impact that. At the side, there are choices you can make, and even once you're going through the mission, there are choices you make that determine the outcome. Not something we're super unfamiliar with at this point, but it's probably a more fluid system than some have been.
Yeah.
And it was, from what they showed, it was well executed. It's really curious, or really makes you curious to want to go back and actually go, well, what if I had made that other decision? I feel like things didn't go like I thought they would. What if I had made a different decision? What point did things go wrong? What should I have done differently? And that's good. For a game like this, if it's different enough, it adds that replayability. It's one of the big things with games with branching paths. Oftentimes, it's like, well, the difference is so minor, there's not really a point to do it. It's like a couple of dialogue boxes, and that's the only difference. But this game is not.
Detroit Become All Human came along and said, yeah, you can fuck up your whole everything.
Yeah. Much more dramatic differences like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then towards the end, they just kind of showed off some. They go, all right, and now we're unlocking some higher level abilities. So basically, like an end game character with all the upgrades and enhancements, because Cyberpunk is dealing with cybernetic enhancements. So the player character had like blade arm things and was jumping off walls, and could double jump, and it was all kinds of interesting stuff. Looks pretty good.
Nice.
I don't know what kind of timeline is on this game, but it was good to see the progress they've made and them not trying to sugarcoat anything.
I
think there was actually a couple of spots where I noticed very minor bugs. I think they were only graphical bugs is all I noticed, which is not unexpected for a alpha build type deal. But they didn't try sugarcoating, and they're like, every single thing you see in this trailer or in this footage is prone to change, subject to change. None of it may exist in a release, but this is where we're at.
Now, so this was a video. I think I may have misunderstood you. You said a live stream. So it's just they played it one time and it's off. It's just a video you can find. They're not continuously playing this like right now, right? Okay.
Yeah, they just did a live stream on Twitch and showed the video.
I will have to go check this out. I've heard there's been a lot of these games are being played. You're seeing some more gameplay footage. I'd definitely like to see this, because I did see the cool ass trailer that everybody saw at was it E3? I believe it was. But the gameplay thing, I haven't seen that yet. I really want to see that.
Yeah, this was on the CD Projekt Red Twitch stream. So if you go to their channel, it's probably in their past broadcasts and their videos.
Gotcha.
If not, the internet has millions of copies of it at this point.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Did you have something else news related?
Yeah, I did, but I'm waiting to sneeze.
Okay. Bless you.
It's gone.
All right.
Oh man, that was bad. It was there, and I was like, "Oh, if he could just talk for another 30 seconds, that'll be good." And then I was on the spot, and it was like, "Nope, you're done." There was another piece of news, and I honestly, Chris, since it happened, I was debating. Yeah, I think you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
I really was debating on even talking about it at all. I have so many things to say about this. Not really a ton, but they're like a mixed bag of feelings about it. So a few days ago, there was I want to start it off by saying a very tragic, another tragic incident, but it is another tragic shooting at something. And there were some individuals were killed, other ones were injured. This was at the where was this, Chris? It was at the Madden, the EA tournament.
It was in Jacksonville, Florida, at a Madden tournament.
Yeah, and right there, automatically, I was already getting upset about this because I'm like. And this was a stupid, shitty, selfish reason for me to be upset. As a general fucking human being, I am upset because somebody was shot and killed. Another person, 120, it doesn't matter, was shot and killed at something. School, a venue, a airport, a building, a park, whatever. It doesn't matter where the fuck it happens. It is tragic. It will always be tragic. There are people that are doing something. Doesn't matter where they are somewhere unexpectedly having a good time, a bad day, whatever, and they're not going home. And it sucks.
Yeah.
I was upset also about this one because this hits home. This is a video game venue that this happened at. And on the one hand, while I was tragically thinking, man, this another shooting. This is so fucking horrible. Why does this shit keep happening? But I was also very selfishly thinking, here's another thing for people to ride video gamers about. Like, oh, well, look, there's violence in fucking video games, right? It's like, there you go, which I thankfully haven't seen a lot of, but my wall is up for that. I know it's coming. I know people are going to use that as not even as video games. They do it, right? They make people violent. They make people want to pull out a gun and do something. And it's like, man, get out of my face. Get out. This is tragic no matter where. It doesn't matter if it's one injured victim or 40 killed victims. It's bad. It is horrible. It is tragic. Again, it's no secret where I get most of my news from. As Giant Bomb was talking about this, they said, of course, EA has pulled the rest of the tournaments for the year because they are going to reevaluate how they're doing their security, which is good. Cool. But man, it's like there's fucking nowhere to go, folks. You don't know. Like, it's not just schools. It's not just work. It's not just libraries. It's not just businesses. It's not just fucking video game tournaments. It's getting to the point where you don't know. Well, I mean, it is at the point where you don't know where this shit's going to happen. And you might not have anything to do with it. Like, I don't know. I have not done the homework and looked at the 4 victims that passed away, but my mindset is they might not even all been fucking gamers. There might have been some guy that was competing and his girlfriend was there. His girlfriend died. That's the shit that goes through my head. There's somebody at a food place, a fast food place, just trying to fucking grab some food for his friends on the way to a party or something, and he gets shot and killed just because he was there, because some asshole that had a gun decided to go fuck crazy on innocent people instead of the boss that pissed him off, which again, it's no reason, it's no excuse.
It's so, I mean, it's just out of nowhere, I say that it's not, in the end, it wasn't truly surprising, because of all the, other things that have been going on shooting related, but it's just like, really, at a video game tournament of all things, I know that for a lot of people, like you said, okay, sure, it's another link to video games, violence, etc. But for me, typically, I have the opposite reaction. I'm like, really, a gamer, especially someone at a tournament. These are people that are passionate about their games, and you wouldn't expect this from them. I haven't looked in the last couple of days, but last I read, it was confirmed as being someone that lost in the tournament.
Yeah, he lost, went to his fucking hotel or whatever, grabbed his shit, came back through, and opened fire.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. I mean, and it's like you said, it's one of those things that are not like what you were saying, but what I was reading on social media and stuff about it. I've gone to these tournaments, and I've taken my family to tournaments, to esports, tournaments, and it's not something you'd go to and think, man, how's the security here, but it is good to see that a lot of the organizations have said, we're going to be taking a closer look, not just EA and all of that, but other venues. I saw people posting how thankful they were for the extra security that goes on at Dota tournaments, and there was something else that people were like, yeah, they've been doing this, and I understand why some places wouldn't. It's another expense, and despite what mainstream media says, it's not something you would expect to happen, but it needs to be there, I guess.
Yeah, and like I said, man, it doesn't matter where it happens, it's always going to be tragic. But the cynical side of me is going, well, you know, like no, like there's nowhere there's damn near almost nowhere that's safe.
Mm-hmm.
You know, are me and my wife going to be shut up because we go to Disneyland? I mean, probably not. There's security there. I get that, but that's the mentality of it. You know, no matter where we go, it's like these people could have nothing to do with any of this. You know, there could be the 4 people that died might not even been in the same fucking game as him. They might not have been in the same tournament bracket. Who knows? I don't know. I didn't look at the details, and I'd rather not know the details because in my mind, the fucking details like that don't matter. What matters is somebody got through with a weapon and hurt people. I don't care if he lost a $4 million pot. I don't care if he got knocked out in pools. There is no excuse for it.
You know,
but there's also no excuse for any of the other ones that happened. You know,
that was another part that kind of ticked me off about it because, you know, it doesn't justify, but someone's, you know, has hundreds of thousands or, you know, even $1 million on the line. Obviously, they're going to be under a lot of pressure and, you know, they should be watched closer. I think the maximum prize pool for like everybody combined there was like 20,000 for everybody. That wasn't even like first place. So it's like, wow. Really? Yeah. Just. Yeah. I was honestly up and down about even talking about it because, I mean, I don't want to get into a whole fucking school shooting and violence thing, but when I was in high school back in 97 to 2000, Columbine hit, and I knew after the fact, after doing more research, that Columbine wasn't the first. Columbine was one of the first one that got really, for lack of a better word, it was the one that was most popularized at that time. There were school shootings around it. There were school shootings after it. There were shootings of other venues, establishments, what have you, before and after it. It just seems like these days they're fucking all the time. Yeah.
Like, it's every other week, if not every week, you're turning the news on or you're hearing a happenstance of, oh, yeah, there's a hostage situation at so-and-so, insert name of thing here going on right now. And then later it's like, yeah, 11 people died, 7 people died, 26 people died, 4 people died. It's like, man,
yeah,
I hate it. I hate it because I'm telling you, it really affects me. It affects me nowhere in the same breadth as the friends and families and coworkers and associates of these people. I'm not pulling no pity party on my end, but I will tell you that this stuff affects me. Like, I think about it every time it happens, and it's just a fucking grim reality of, me and my wife could be somewhere. We could be at a mall. Just because I made it a point to go, I wanted to go somewhere and just go shopping for this thing or this video game. And we're there, and some fucking dip has a grudge against somebody else and decides he's going to walk into this random mall and just randomly spray for no reason. And now my wife is dead. We don't even fucking know this guy. We're not loosely affiliated with anybody that this person knows. He just got through with a gun and shot people. That's what affects me the most. This is people that some of these people, whether they're working at their job or participating in this event or whatever, they're just living their everyday life, man. They're not tied at all to it. But whether or not they are or not, it sucks. And it's sad and it's tragic. And Chris, you and I together could spend another 4 hours talking about what we think could be done to this, but to help, prevent this or make this better. But not this episode. I'm not looking to do that. Just coming from the guy that had shit thrown his way when Columbine was coming around, when Columbine happened, and just seeing the shit that keeps compounding and more. Something, I don't know. This is another thing that I gleaned from Giant Bomb, from Jeff Gerstmann himself, and I agree with to an extent. something has to be done. Only in opposition to the nothing that's being done now. If we're going to up security around at places, then we need to do it. But damn, Chris, it's almost getting to the point where everywhere needs security.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, it's mandatory now. Are you planning an event that's going to have 50 or more people around? You have to have security. Like, that's what it's coming down to. Or you have 25 people or more, because you just don't know. You just don't know. Taking a left turn, getting away from this. I'm trying to think of any other game-related things that really sparked my interest.
I was just looking through articles, and I found a headline: "An official EVE Online event let players publicly execute cheaters."
Oh, wow. Yes.
And it has a screenshot of a massive, space battle. I guess all these ships coming together and destroying the ships of cheaters. Something like that.
Yes.
I love that stuff.
I heard talk of a game that, like, I don't remember what game it was. I think it's a fairly newer game that if you get caught cheating, a bounty gets put on your head. And it's like, if you kill them, you get, I don't know, I forget the details after that. I don't know if you get an award or a trophy or maybe some loot or something, but that's the kind of shit that I like. Mm-hmm. I'm all about that. And again, this is the end of time cast statement we made before. Chris and I, hey, we don't give a fuck if you cheat. If you go out today and buy a brand new game and you hook up some fucking cheat engine to it day one and you cheat, I don't care. Dude, manage your time how you want to, manage your gameplay, play how you want to play. If that helps you get your jollies, go for it. The minute you take that shit online, and I'm putting 80 rounds into you and you're not dying, and then you put 1 round into me and I'm dead, now I got a problem. Keep it offline. God mode, whatever game you want to. I don't care either way. If you and I are talking personally, I'm going to be like, man, you just don't. That was the whole point of that game. Like, what do you mean you went through Dark Souls and you used a fucking cheat engine right off the bat? Like, you're kind of defeating the purpose. Like, what are you playing for? Do I care though? No, not really. But when you say you take that shit online, yeah, get a bounty on your head. I want that. I'm all for that. I can't think of any other news, man. At least I can't on my end. So I guess I'll roll into my week. Go ahead.
One thing I will add, and I'll probably talk about next week anyway, because we'll have the new Games with Gold and stuff, but there's news that Destiny 2 is in September's PlayStation Plus lineup.
Thank you. That was the piece of news that I did want to mention. Yes. Destiny 2 and I forget the other game. There were 2 games side by side they announced.
I didn't look at the actual announcement. Yeah.
Yeah, but the Destiny 2 one got me. Chris, how old is Destiny 2?
A year.
Wow.
Next week we're launching year 2.
Oh my God.
Now, here's why. So, first off.
Oh, the God of War 3 remaster. That's what it was. Sorry.
I remember saying that now. So, here's the thing. Getting the base game for free is good. I'm okay with that. And it'll give people a chance to at least try the game. But if you want to actually play any of the DLC content or the year 2 content, you're going to have to buy the expansions. So while it's free, yes, you're not getting a ton. So it's like I said, it's good if you want to try it, but to get the full experience of the game, you're going to need to buy expansion. Now, that being said, I've mentioned this before, everybody gets quality of life changes. So whether you're playing the base game, all DLCs, half the DLCs, doesn't matter, you get the quality of life changes. You just don't really get the story content, and I don't know what else is locked behind the DLC, but you get, you have the same weapon loadouts that we do. We being people like me that buy all this stuff.
Yeah.
Whether I like it or not. And you may not be able to get all the weapons I can get. You may be able to get 80% of them, 75% of them, depending on what drops out, just out in the world, what they don't actually lock and prevent from dropping.
Yeah.
But you still have the new slot changes that rolled out Tuesday. You still have all these other things that make the game better overall to play. So,
I kind of figured there was a catch to it, and even just having a very, I only know it from Chris' perspective on Destiny and Destiny 2. I kind of thought that this was one of those situations where, like, yeah, I mean, you can get a little campaign. The campaign's, so many hours, but the point of it's like Titanfall. That's how I treat it. It's kind of mentally like playing Titanfall. You can get a campaign, the campaign's there, but the campaign's very short, and the campaign is not why people go to this game. It's good. It's nice. It's a good package. But the reason why people go play Titanfall is because of that fucking awesome multiplayer. And that's what Destiny and Destiny 2 are. I mean, they're online multiplayer. That's where you're going to get the fun from the game. That's the meat of the game. So yeah, I'm going to get it because of course I am. But whether how deep I go into it, I probably not too far. We'll see. We'll see if the game drags me in.
Yeah.
The fact that I'm getting the game for free is a damn good way to test me and see if it's gonna drag me in. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I play on Xbox One, so I mean I have a copy of the PS4 version I got with my white PS4. I got it's actually Destiny 2 bundle, PS4 Pro. I don't have the DLC for it, so I'd have to buy it, but I've already bought it on Xbox, so it's like, don't I really want to do that, but hey, if you enjoy it, maybe I'll load that up on PS4. Year 2 is a good time to get into it.
Yeah.
The year marks are typically the best points to go from console to console, because the amount of grind you'd have to do to catch up is essentially non-existent when starting a new year. You just have to play maybe a few hours more, and you'll actually catch up roughly to the light level you were before. Because the light level is probably going to go up another 100. So the soft cap will probably be, 50, 60 higher than I am now. And then, as long as you're not that soft cap, you're going to go up really fast.
Yeah. That, and for the other game was God of War 3 Remastered. Mm-hmm. And I've already got that game, so there's no need for me to get that. But yeah, I'll be looking forward to see what other good stuff we'll get from it. But yeah, that was a piece of news where I was like, you play this Destiny 2 game. That seems like a fairly new game. And
yep.
All right, so my week. Start off right off the bat with non-gaming stuff. Quick update for the contact news for the 3 people that are actually interested in my contact life drama. So when I went for my contacts eye exam, they had a pair of contacts that were there that were close to my prescription, but they weren't exactly my prescription, but they did match my eye shape. I wore those for a while, about a week before I got tired of putting them in and taking them out. Then my actual prescription contacts came in. They felt a lot smoother, a lot better, and the prescription matched my eyes, so I got to see a lot better. I had them in for 3 days and lost my left contact. So, unfortunately, I have to wait for another pair to come in because the doctor actually has to see them on me. I have to get another exam, another measurement. It's basically a follow-up to, okay, are these contacts physically working for you, and are they actually working for your eyesight? And it's a very peculiar situation where she tried to order me a pair of contacts. Those were going to be on back order. She ordered another pair from another place. Those came in. Oh, Lord, Shokan's talking to me. So hopefully this other pair that got back order will come in. I'll get to check them out. I've already tried to tell her that, hey, I like these contacts. I'd like to go ahead and buy them, but the doctor has to see them on you, et cetera, et cetera. So, I'll tell you now, man, the situation really hasn't gotten better or worse for me. It's still the same. It still takes me a long time to put them in. It's still hella crazy for me taking them out. Both ways, man. It seems like it should be fucking easy. I watched my wife do hers. I've seen other people do theirs, putting them in and taking them out. Just pinching them and taking them out seems to not work for me. We'll see. I'm at least going to buy one pair because, again, it is very nice to, without a frame of glasses around your eyes, see 20/20 vision everywhere you go. Mm-hmm. It is nice. I've never had that my entire life. And at the end of the day, even though all it does is clear the vision up for me, it makes things a little less blur. It makes things less blurry, which is all I know when I have my glasses on or my glasses off. Sure, I'll try it out again, but it's still aggravating. I'm telling you, I'm a fucking grown man in my own bathroom trying to put these contacts in, and all you can hear every 30 seconds is fuck, because I just fucking can't. Mm-hmm. I wish I could be a normal person, and this is just a put it in, but I am not. I'm not even my wife's like, you're just thinking about it too much. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you, baby. It's just, it is what it is. Like, she watches me put these in and she's like, I just don't get it. I'm like, I don't either. So more to follow on that. We'll see. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, all that's going to happen is I'm going to tell, if she likes the way my eyes are, I'm just going to tell her to go ahead and order a box and we're going to roll with it. Let's see. I want to give a product shout out to Western Digital. I want to give a product shout out to their Passport hard drives because I have purchased some more. This is how bad my data collection is, Chris. I have now graduated from, having 3 or 4 hard drives to having 12 total to now buying backups for those drives, because I know you've had it too, Chris. I'm pretty sure most of our audience has. There is nothing like your drive dying. Yeah. I know that there are scrub places you can send them to, and you can pay them a couple $100. It's a lot of fucking money to have them go in there and try to grab as much data as they possibly can. I've never done that because 1, I never have the money, and 2, eventually I just shrug my shoulders and go, fuck it, I'll just start from scratch. But now with me having so many videos and YouTube videos and all this cartoons and movies and all this stuff that I have, it's now to the point where I want to start getting a backup just in case those do die. Yeah. Once I have a backup for all the drives, then I'm done, because then it's just, well, if a main drive dies, I'll just go to the backup and just buy another drive for a backup.
Yeah,
like and
funny you mentioned that, because I've actually got my Passport WD PS4 hard drive sitting on my desk. Yep. I've got to plug in.
Yeah. I have a 1 terabyte Passport for my PlayStation 4. I have a 1 terabyte for my Wii U still. That one's not going to get used that much. But I do have a shit ton of hard drives. All of them are 2 and 4 terabytes. I don't have them all 4 just yet, but I was making progress to make them all, because again, this is a never ending cycle in my life. I'm always going to need hard drive space. But I will say, of all of these Western Digital Passports, 2 terabyte and 4 terabytes that I have in my possession, I want to say total I have at least 16. I guess 18 if you count the 2 1 terabytes. I have only ever had 1 die. Only 1. And that one was, I think it was like the first or second one I ever bought. So it definitely was old. It definitely died because of age, which can happen. I mean, this is something that you have to respect, know, and understand. If it has a mechanical or an electronic part, it will die. It will eventually give out. The fortunate thing with these passports is that I have through varying times. I haven't really used them yet as full media players, but they haven't died on me. Like, I have a lot of these drives, and they're all trucking along, and I appreciate that. It's cool. So I just want to give a quick shout out to them. I'm still in the process of trying to buy enough to have backups for everything, and it'll be done eventually. No, it won't. I take that back. It will never do, because I'll always be having more videos and shit and yada yada yada. But in my opinion, as somebody who has had multiple drives go out in his life, like most people have, I'm not special. I would say that if you are looking for an external drive, go with the Western Digital Passport. It won't lead you wrong. Yeah. I will also say that of the drives that I've had internally, the Western Digital internal drive times 2, I have 2 of those. They haven't gone out either. I think in my life, the Seagates have been the ones that have gone out the most. Yeah. Which for me means I'm crossing my fingers, because my internal solid state drive is a Seagate one. That solid state internal drive is me crossing my fingers and giving Seagate another chance. I've had it for about 6 months now. It hasn't gone out, but it's also a solid state drive. I think solid state drives actually have a life. They have like a timeline on them. They will go out because they'll just go bad. So we'll see. But Western Digital hasn't let me down for many, many years now. So props to you, Western Digital. Keep it up. Thanks for not making me lose my data. Movies. I have watched one movie recently. I don't know if you've seen it yet, Chris, or if you want to see it. Hereditary. It's the horror movie that came out this year.
Don't know anything about it. And probably because it's a horror movie.
Yeah. Well, that's fine. I'll try to keep it spoiler free anyway, just in case. I am a horror movie kind of guy, and I mean like scary horror. I like to be scared. I like the shit scared out of me. This movie, I didn't really see too many advertisements for it. This was more of a word of the mouth kind of movie. I've heard lots of people say, throwing lots of hyperboles out there. Scariest movie ever. Scariest movie of the year. You're going to shit your pants, yada, yada, yada. And I could tell, at least from the trailers that I saw, compared to other generic scary movie trailers like Slender Man or The Conjuring 2 or the ones, the manufactured horror movies that have played theaters for the past decade. This one did not seem like that. It seemed like the trailer was trying to make it that way, but I could see past the trailer. It seemed like there was something else going on in this movie. It subverted my expectations a couple times. In a good way, too, because when the movie starts, once the story starts to progress, you're going to kind of get this mentality of, okay, I see what's going on. This blank is going to be the cause of blank. And this thing is going to be the cause of the problems the whole time. Like, this is the fulcrum of the movie. This is the central piece of the movie. And this is the gimmick of the movie. And then about a quarter of the way into the movie, they fucking turn your head around backwards and say, nope, this is not what this movie's about. And seeing the progression of the story and seeing where they take the story, very good. This is a subtle horror movie. It is not about like scary ghosts and stuff like that. It is we'll say, for lack of spoiler, or for the sake of trying not to spoil people, we'll say it's cultish in nature. Yeah. And I would say, like most people have, if you're a fan of a movie, I think it was 16 or 17 it came out, of The Witch, this is in that same line. It's very quiet, very subtle. It's not out trying to kick your face in with the horror. No jump scares. It doesn't flash in your face and make you scream. It's very subtle and spooky and eerie. And the last 20 minutes, 30 minutes of this movie are fucking intense because of all of that buildup. Because once you start putting the pieces together, the movie knows that you know, and it puts it all in your face, and it was pretty good. It's not the scariest movie I've ever seen. And that's not because of, high expectations. It's just because I've seen scary. I've had shit that has scared the literal shit out of me. This one had some creepy moments, but it's more about the story. The story was pretty good. I really think that's it for everything non-game related, which brings me to the only game that I played over the past week. This is another thing I've been debating about how I want to talk about this, Chris. So, I'm going to say for the audience and for Chris right now, I'm going to say that I am fixing to be talking about Persona 4, not Persona 4 Golden, Persona 4 for the PlayStation 2. That's the version that I played. It's the version that I'll be talking about. So sorry, apparently bronchitis takes a month to get over. Sorry. I am still going to keep it as spoiler free as I can, but given the events that I just went through, I'm going to leave it up to Chris to allow me to tell him not spoiler stuff per se, but I would like to give some friendly guidance, for lack of a better word or lack of a better phrase, because I don't want anybody else to go through what I went through. I really don't. This game is too good for the sharp left turn. So with your permission, Chris, with no spoilers specifics, I want to tell you about my last, say, 20 something hours of playing this game and the ending, and before or if you get into it, hopefully give you some good advice. Okay.
All right.
So for you and for the audience as well, if you don't want to even have a hint of Persona 4 spoiled, I'm going to do my best to keep it spoiler free, but just in case, PlayStation 2 version Persona 4 spoiler warning. As of right now, you've been warned. So here we go. So I've already gushed a lot about this game, and I got to tell you guys, a lot of that gushing, it plays all the way through. I got into a really, really good skip of this game, probably halfway through, because Persona 5 pretty much spoiled me. There were things that I just knew what to do. Again, if you've never played a Persona game ever, I would still say go play Persona 5 first. If you want to, I see no reason for you not to play Persona 4. It's also a good place to start. You're not going to be missing out on anything because it's had its own isolated story, and you'll be just fine. It really is a matter of preference. I'm debating on when and if I want to get into Persona 3, because I hear that Persona 3 and Persona 4 are pretty much alike. I will tell you, and Chris will tell you as well, Persona 5, it's light years above. I mean, the graphics, the music, the story, the length of gameplay, everything. It's the same type of game, but it is better. So if you want to go play the newest, best Persona, go play Persona 5. But the fact that I spent so many hours, and Chris, I should have did my own damn homework. I did not. I want to say I put close to 200 something hours into that game, maybe close to 250. I forget, but I put a lot of time to Persona 5. I beat Persona 4 with clocked in at 97 hours.
Nice.
And I will tell you in the audience too, that's because I was blowing through this stuff. I was engineered from Persona 5. Therefore, I knew what to do in Persona 4. There is, for me, from what I saw, there's probably about half of the amount of daily juggling going on in Persona 4, which for me was actually nice. That is something that I noticed a lot in Persona 5. I almost felt like sick with what do I want to do? Well, I know what I want to do today, but what should I be doing? And Persona 4 gives you roughly the same amount of time. It gives you close enough to a year, I want to say, for you to do all the events. That's all the social links that you would like to do, all of the dungeon crawling that you need to do, all of the grinding. You have lots of days to progress through this game. The fact that I went through Persona 5 first made me able to knuckle down with Persona 4 and have set plans all the time. Like, I knew exactly how I wanted to spend every day. I knew exactly what I wanted to do when weekends came up. I knew what I wanted to do every night. I knew how I wanted to evenly distribute these days and these nights. That way I wasn't like grinding the same. I wasn't talking to somebody in the daytime and then the next day talking to the same person and the next day talking to, like, I divvied it up. But that way it was fresh. I felt like I had a more diverse experience and I was doing different things with different people on different days. And it made my Persona experience better. Now, that's just me. If you want to go in and grind every single day with the same person, you can. You can knock out their rank 10 in 2 or 3 weeks and you can get it done. But I chose to spread it out. It made it a better experience for me. But even with spreading it out, I mean, I had this shit regimented. I knew that this day I was going to hang out with this person. At night, I was going to read this book. The next day, I was going to spend time with this person. That night, I was going to go do a part-time job and not read. The next day, I was going to go talk to a different person. The next night, I was going to go fishing, like, etc., etc. I could plan it all. When rain came up, I knew where I wanted to do. I had it all. So it's not just of the grinding that I got really good at. It was also the social links. Like, I just got really good at it. I say that there's about half of the content of things to do that could have been ignorance on my part. I didn't go out and find every single tidbit. And I didn't really read a lot of guides. I did like questions and answers. That's about the most that I went through. But, there may have been guys to tell you, there may have been, I'm pretty sure there were other NPCs that I could have done social links with. I probably just completely missed them or overlooked them, or I didn't care to do them because I just didn't care to. So, I was trucking along in this game, and I beat the game. And what I'm about to tell you, Chris, and the audience as well, for those that stuck around, remember spoilers coming up potentially. This is in no way taking away the 96 hours and 50 something minutes that I played this game. This ending I got, apparently, and this might have been the same for Persona 5. I think there were multiple endings in Persona 5, Chris.
Yeah, technically.
I think there were, yeah. But I did a lot of shit in Persona 5, granted, but my stumbling into basically the good or best ending or whatever Persona 5, it just happened. I didn't read any guides on how to do it. It's just the people that I talked to and the choices I made got me the good ending. When I left Persona 5, it was a hearty send off and a closure to what I saw, and I got the good game over, and that was good for me. I beat Persona 5, Chris, and the credits started rolling, and I said, "The fuck." This game cannot be over. There's no way. Something's wrong. This is a trick or something. The credit's going to roll by. It's going to fast forward again. And then no. Game's over, buddy. So I immediately went to Google and searched multiple endings for Persona 4. And yes, there are multiple endings. To the degree of there is a true ending where you fight. It's not just about fighting the final boss, but you get genuine closure to the game, to the story, to the reason why the shit that's happening on the other side is happening, etc., etc. So, Chris, I get to the end. Well, I get to this I didn't even know it was the ending of what I was getting. I get to this, I basically clear this section of a game. This cutscene stuff happens. The story things happen. And then the game fast forwards through the entire month of December with basically a hand wave. Like, yep, you did this thing. You completed this task and then nothing really happened, and fast forward. And I want to say it may have been past December. It may have been further on. It may have been later in the year that the game picked back up again. But, and again, this could also be ignorance on my part because, guys and gals, I didn't realize the game was fixing to fucking end. But in Persona 5, they give you a chance to where, hey, the ending is coming up in Persona 5. If you want to go around and talk to people, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, and maybe send some farewells and maybe get some closure to things and go right ahead. But when you're ready to basically end the game, come talk to me. I did not see that in what I played. If that is there, I haven't even looked at it and researched that part of it. All I know is I had a fuck ton of questions when that credit screen started to roll.
Yeah.
A lot. I also did not get the, hey, go talk to all your friends and have a happy-go-lucky closure. I had, excuse me, I had game event happen, story event happen, story sequence happen, story event happen, story sequence happen, credits. And I was lost. I was dumbfounded. And again, I want to stress this to you and to the audience as well. This did not tank the game for me, okay? It did not. I will not deny the fun that I had for that 90-something plus hours. I cannot. I enjoyed it because for me, as we've mentioned on another episode, for me, this was doing what I wanted to do, which was go back into Persona. I was thinking a lot about playing Persona 5, and I probably will sometime. I know I'm going to play through that game again. But this filled that Persona itch for me, and I enjoyed it. I fell right in with doing the social links and managing my days and buying items from the item shop and having new items pop up and selling materials and having new armor and grinding in dungeons until my SP ran out and etc. etc. I'm so sorry for the coughing. So the things that I loved about Persona 5, just scale it back a point or two and I got it all again in Persona 4. I cannot and will not begrudge that. But man, I'm telling you now, Chris, in whatever way you choose to do it, and for you audience as well, again, that stuck around, even though I warned you about potential spoilers, I'm shaking my microphone. Listen to me. Somehow, some way, go find a guide and don't look at anything, but around, say, mid to late October, maybe even if you want to push it, maybe even early to mid at the latest November of that year, whip that guide out and look specifically for things that are required for you to get the quote-unquote true ending. Because honestly, folks, I wish I could tell you the actual details right now. I was so upset and angry I didn't look at specifics. There may be that it may be that you have to have certain characters at max. There's social links. There may be just some dialogue choices you had to choose. There was a point, again, spoiler free as best as I can. There was a pretty intense conversation that happened, a couple days before the fast forward. And I was making these decisions as best as I could. I role played my character how I had been playing him and made those choices based on the way I've been playing them. And apparently my choices were pretty much the okay choices. There are, if I remember reading right, there are certain choices that you should select because it basically goes, there's more to this. It seems very obvious. I'm trying my best to keep this as spoiler free, and I know it should have seemed fairly obvious, but I picked answers. I didn't play my character any different than I had been playing it, and it was doing me just fine. And apparently that railroaded me into a day skipping, pat on the shoulder, hey, cool, game over, good time, right ending, as opposed to the now it's time to have everything revealed. So, yeah. And it was also, man, I did like, it's partially my fault too, because I should have been managing my saves better. Unfortunately, the last physical save that I did a long stint, with not a lot of saving. And if I was to go back and try to do even just that one conversation correctly, I say correctly, but the way that the game wants me to get the true ending out of, I'm going to have to go back and play through several days worth of management.
Yeah,
and sucks. I would have to go back and see. I don't want to say that for a fact. Don't quote me on this, folks, because I don't know. But I think there are some characters that you have to be max social link, and I did a pretty good job on that front. I was knocking out social links left and right, but I don't know specifically who I didn't. And there comes almost a soft date where it's like, yeah, if you haven't even started by this date, you're fucked, because there's only enough days / nights / times that you can actually interact with this person, given the calendar that's about to be in front of you, that you can do this. So, I did cheat, in my rage. I went on YouTube and looked up the true ending. I looked up the cutscene and saw what happened. I got the gist of what I missed out on, and most of my questions were answered. But I still left some of them vague. I still have a good handful of them, and I'm keeping those to my chest. I may go back, man, sometime and knock out those 15 something days, maybe even a month. I forget how long it was. And I may just guide my way through it and try to get the legit answer, but I think if I read right, there are 2 bad endings, a normal ending, and a true ending. And I got the normal ending. And the normal ending for me it was just me going through the game, playing it like I was wanting to play it. So that's my strong advice for anybody out there. I honestly cannot tell you, because it's been a while since I played Persona 5. I can't tell you if Persona 5 ended this way. I can't tell you if there was. I want to say there were some specific times where it was like, you gotta make specific choices, because I played that ending. I played most of that game, like 85-90% of that game, without a guide. Again, only for questions and shit like that I ever pull anything out for. So I didn't read anything that told me, hey, you better be choosing this stuff. Hint, hint. And I got the good ending. I got the really good ending. I can't say if Persona 5 is an upgrade from 4, as in they learned their lesson to not do that shit. It also makes me worried about Persona 3. Like, does Persona 3 have this stuff? Yeah. And again, guys and gals, feel free to tear my asshole wide open in the fucking comments, okay? If there were obvious questions or obvious answers to questions where it's like, dude, come on, you didn't pick these 4 answers, like these were the obvious ones. You know what? My bad. But at the same time, man, that's not cool. Like, you can't give me almost 100 hours of an RPG and tell me that because I fumbled a couple of answers that I get the wrong ending or the okay ending. Or because again, it's not the fact that I got the ho-hum ending. That's not my issue at all. My issue is the fact that I got the ho-hum ending that didn't answer questions. You cannot go through a 100-hour RPG and the credits roll and you go, wait a minute, what about this and 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 this? Like, I had no answers, and the closure they gave me was more like a, yay, we're done, congratulations, good job, bye, as opposed to a, okay, so, oh man, that's good. Didn't get none of that. So, still a good game. Still had a damn good time with it. I still have the music stuck in my head. I've been humming it since I started playing the game. Good story. Lots of good character development. Lots of really good characters, just like Persona 5, man. I'm telling you, you're going to get, if you like Persona 5, you're going to be right at home. And even if that wasn't your first, this should be your first. If it is your first, just be wary around the ending. Around the end of October, especially the beginning of November, you need to do a little bit of research just in case. It didn't sour the entire game for me, but it definitely soured my experience, and that fucking sucks, man. Sure. That really, really sucks. Still a damn good game. I'm glad I picked it up. I mean, Chris is aware of this. I'm sure the audience by now is aware of this. I'm very fucking free to the wind minded. If you don't capture my interest, I will drop you. It doesn't matter if I paid $5 or $60. And Persona 4 did not. It captured me, and I kept playing and kept playing. And I couldn't wait to get home and play it, and felt right at home. So, yeah, aside from the ending totally just fucking knocking my feet out from under me, and me sitting there with a really expression, still good time. Damn good time. Glad I played it. Now, Chris, the real question is, what the fuck am I going to do until the 7th of September when Spider-Man comes out? I'm about to be in a whole nother week of turmoil of who the fuck knows what I'm going to be playing.
Man.
I started playing a few PS2 games at random. I picked up a couple pulled out a couple GameCube games and started playing, and I was like, nah, I'm going to be... maybe I'll go play Dead Cells because I was just getting back into that after the official release. But honestly, folks, I don't know. Next week, I do not know what I'm going to be reporting of what I'm going to be playing. I can tell you it will not be Persona 4. I'll tell you that. I think... Yeah, man, I think that's it for my week, finally. Let me grab some fucking water, and Chris, take it away, brother. How's your week been?
Hopefully, I'm going to try not to talk about this for an hour, but I have 6 games on my list, so it's going to be a little bit. Some of them are quick, but I'll start out
with... It's our podcast, brother. Take your time.
Yeah. I'll start out with my normal Destiny 2 segment. Don't want to change things up on our listeners too much. Last episode, I talked about how I wasn't sure if I had enough time to get through things before the event ended. And I think the fact that there are 6 games on my list might be a pretty good sign of what ended up happening. I waited too long. And it was no longer possible for me to get everything. So I only put in about 6 hours. I did go through and I got all of the the regional chests. I got all of those, which are really easy to do. They're actually on the map. So it's not like it's a mystery of how to get them. I think I started also going through some more of the little Warmind things. But I got to the point where I needed to do more escalation protocols, and at that point, I was not ready to go on LFG and look for a group, you know. It's so brutal not having matchmaking in-game, and not that public events would help anyway, because that's just whoever, you know, ends up being in your world instance. For the escalation protocols, but I was not feeling it. I didn't want to sit there and look for a group and then have to hook my headset up and all this, you know, first world problems.
Yeah. A lot of first world problems. I hear you.
I just wanted to play. So
yeah,
I put about...
And dude, there's nothing to feel wrong about that either, man. If you want to turn the fucking game on and get into the game, that's natural.
Yeah. So Tuesday they pushed version 2.0, which year 2 technically doesn't start until next Tuesday on the 4th, yeah. It's so frustrating too because Monday's a holiday, but it comes out on Tuesday. So right. I was like, and
thanks,
it's not
guys.
even that it comes out on, you know, like Tuesday or, Monday at midnight, or Tuesday early morning, it's probably going to be the traditional Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Reset time, which I don't like that. I'd prefer it to be much earlier. Because I could take the day off, but at 1 o'clock, I'm only going to have 2 hours of work left. I basically work 7 to 3. So, yeah, no point taking the day off when I can only play for 2 hours of it. But I was thinking about taking Wednesday off, but I got too much stuff to do. I'm going to be going out of town soon, and yeah, I can't, I don't know if I'd really want to take the time off at this point. But, so, they released patch 2.0. I did log in long enough to take a look. I noticed my weapons were moved around because they changed slots where they were. I have a shotgun I can now use as a primary, and a sniper rifle I can use as a secondary now. And I did not go in and actually try any of the combat changes. I didn't go do any Crucible or anything like that. I was looking at and debating on if I wanted to do any of it, because aside from getting a feel for the new mechanics, like in Crucible, I don't know. I'm just going to wait until the year 2 starts, I think, for the Forsaken DLC, so I can actually play story. And that'll be all I need to really get used to it, I think. By the time I get to the story, I should have a pretty good feel, and then it'll be less of an adjustment once I hit Crucible. So I only
still like a solid play.
I only put in 6 hours in Destiny 2 this week, which is actually tied for not the second lowest of the week. Let's see. I'll move into what I started playing afterwards. So after realizing I was behind on Destiny, I wasn't going to make it, I was like, all right, well, what else do I want to play? But knowing, like you're talking about, there's games coming out in a week. So I need something that I'm not going to be playing for too long, or I won't be able to drop, in a week.
Yeah.
So I was like, I was just going through my Steam library, and I was like, I've seen some people stream Wreckfest lately. I haven't played it since it was in early access, and now it's actually released, I believe. Because I think I saw people mention that there was a, kind of a wipe at the release version to reset progress and get everybody on a level playing field. So I loaded it up. It's much more of a game than it was back then. It was fun to get that Destruction Derby nostalgia for a little bit anyway. It plays differently. I don't know how much of it is because I'm still unlocking things and getting cars and whatnot, but it feels the Destruction Derby aspect doesn't feel as good as the Destruction Derby PlayStation game that I'm referencing when it comes to like damage and whatnot to your vehicle. Like I said, I'm sure once I get upgrades and stuff, it'll be better, but I don't know. It just doesn't feel the same, or as good, I should say. The racing is pretty fun. I started trying to go through career mode, and I quickly hit a wall where I can't progress unless I do optional objectives, but they don't make sense with what you have to do to even win the event. Like and it's funny, there's one, I love it because you're actually riding around on reinforced lawnmowers, which is comical and amusing to do.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah, but the very first event I did in the career mode was a destruction derby with lawnmowers. That was tons of fun. I murdered people. Anytime you T-bone a lawnmower in that game, you're basically going to send them and its rider spinning over, and it's an instant knockout. So I quickly won that, I think, on like the first try. The other one is actually a race. It's a figure 8 race. And the objective to get more points in it is to knock out, other lawnmowers. Well, that is a very tough race. You cannot afford to be bouncing around, playing Destruction Derby on the race and still hope to get first, which you have to get first to complete the objective, overall objective. Yeah. So I think that's one I didn't finish. I didn't finish several of them. I think there's like 8 total things on the entry-level career mode page, because there are different events you can enter and race. I think there are 3 that I don't have cars for yet, so I technically can't do them. But based on the other ones, I think I only have 2 of them where I completed all objectives, maybe a 3rd one. Which all in all isn't bad. I put roughly 3 hours into the game just to get a feel for it. I was like, all right, that's cool. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't unlocked everything. I don't know how it's going to be when I get to that point. I do think that if you have a group to play with, it'd be really fun just straight up, because you can do servers. I didn't join any multiplayer servers. I was purely trying single player just to get a feel for the game again. But there are tons of multiplayer servers. You can just hop in and do races and stuff. That might be the better way to earn all the other stuff. I don't know how much of it carries over to single player. I think it does. Yeah, so I don't think it's a bad game by any means. Like I said, I didn't get that Destruction Derby PlayStation 1 game feel from it when actually doing the Destruction Derby mode, which is a little disappointing, but I'm holding out hope that it'll get better. So after trying that, and not really getting bored with it, just getting done with it for the moment, I did play some more Stardew Valley multiplayer. Put 13 and a half more hours into that, playing with my girlfriend and sometimes the kids. It's fun. It's just a fun little game to play. Even though, like I said before, I've almost 100% the game on single player, playing through multiplayer, still fun. I didn't touch Graveyard Keeper at all this past week, and I don't know. It's one of those things where Graveyard Keeper is fun in its own way, but it's a bit much, for lack of a better way to put it. There are way too many things you can do at once, and there's way too many dependencies. Whereas Stardew Valley, it's a lot more simplified, which has its ups and downs. You know, it limits kind of the content overall. Going to Stardew Valley, there's not as much content, but you have more clearly defined lanes of content. You know, if I want to do something fishing related, I just fish. I might have to mine some resources to upgrade my fishing pole, which actually, no, I don't, because I can just buy it. So as long as I have money, which I can get from fishing, I can do fishing and do nothing but that and be good. Whereas Graveyard Keeper, you know, I want to do farming. Well, I have to go deal with bodies. I have to deal with this and that and this, you know. It's not as straightforward to progress. There's a lot of lateral progression. Whereas Stardew Valley gives you, you know, forward progression. But yeah, we're having fun with it still. That's kind of something to do when I don't have anything else to do, is to hop on multiplayer with that. So I got to a point where I think this is after I played Wreckfest, because Stardew Valley's been in the middle of all these games pretty much here and there. But I think it was after I got done with Wreckfest, I actually loaded up my Xbox One, went to my games, and was like, okay, I need something to play. I don't know what to play. You know, it's one of those moments we've talked about so many times.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
And I looked, and I was like, I don't know. And I was just kind of going through. My games are sorted by file size. So I always see, you know, a couple of them, like I need to go finish them so I can uninstall them once I get to 100%. But I don't feel like doing that or whatever, especially like Final Fantasy 15. Never beat the game, much less 100% it, but no desire to go back and play it at the moment. But I looked and I was like, oh yeah, Assassin's Creed Origins is still installed. I thought I 100% that game. I know there's a little, like, the Ubisoft, what do they call their little system?
Oh wow! I can't believe I don't remember that. It's like their little internet thing. Their Steam, basically.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm sure it'll come to me. But they have some of their little milestones inside of their Ubisoft stuff. Ubisoft Club or
Uplay.
Yeah. There are some Uplay achievements that I could unlock, but some of them were based around like community events. Some of them I don't think was even possible anymore, so I didn't really care about those. I had 100% on the game. I thought I did, and I look and I'm like, okay, yeah. I'm at 1,000, and then I'm like, wait, I'm at 1,000 out of 1,500. I was like, oh, was there DLC? I stopped following it once I beat it, and I don't know how I missed it, but there have been 2 DLCs. So I was like, oh, I should go play that. I think that's actually what I titled my stream as, was like, oh, there's a DLC, I should go do that. So I loaded up Assassin's Creed Origins. It's been a long time since I played it. Probably nearly, maybe 6 to 8 months, depending on when those events I was doing was. And of course I hop in, I'm like, okay, I have no idea what the controls are. So I'm wandering around doing all kinds of crazy things, just hitting buttons. And I finally figured it out. I'm like, all right, I'm good. So I'm like, all right, how do I go to these DLCs? So I look at the map. There's not really anything that jumps out at me as like a story mission. So I'm like, okay, maybe they're all side quest stuff.
Yeah.
Because the quests in the game are divided into main quests, side quests, and I think there's something else. I don't even know. So I was like, okay, I have some side quests on the map. I'll go do those. So I went and did them, and I'm like, okay, this doesn't seem... I'm pretty sure this was already here, and I just never did it or something, or they added it in later with the patch or something. I was like, this doesn't feel like DLC. And I got the thing, I was like, do I own them? Because I'm pretty sure I had the season pass. So I go to the store, and I look, it's like, yeah, you own this. I'm like, huh. And I was actually looking, and it's like, install. Oh.
Okay.
I guess I need to install a DLC. It didn't just, update with the game itself. I had to actually go to the store and install it. So I was like, okay, my bad. Should have checked that. So I put 6 hours into it, and this is probably at the 4-hour mark. Because I had been doing other side stuff that I had. One of the side quests, I think, was a addition that teased you into or introduced you into one of the DLCs. Because I know this one wasn't there before. And it ties in with the subject material of one of the DLCs. So I was like, okay, new Assassin's Creed coming soon. Makes sense for me to go through these DLCs, wrap up this game, and then come October 2nd, I'm going to be ready. So I didn't... Like I said, I think I spent about 2 hours on the DLC, knocked out. Did I? I think I actually finished it. I think I finished one of the DLCs.
Nice.
Yeah. And it was pretty good. The one I completed is called The Hidden Ones, and it is more into the, Assassin's Brotherhood history and how it progressed after the end of the, Origins main story. Because I think at one point it's like, you're about to jump a year in the future or 4 years in the future or something like that. Do you want to proceed? And I'm like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So I did that, and that was pretty good. And I've got the other one, I don't know what it's called because I haven't started it yet. But it seems to be based around undead or something. So it's got a little bit more mythical aspect to it. I will say that, and the one that I was talking about, the side quest that tied into the DLC, it actually ties into this undead related one. And those enemies were kicking my ass. Now, I think part of it's because with the Hidden Ones DLC, it upped the level cap to 45, which I wasn't aware of. But the second one actually upped it to 50. So technically, I'm probably under-leveled for the start of that DLC, because I think I'm at 44. Apparently there's an item you can use. I don't know if it's one of those things you buy with, Helix points or whatever, with your Uplay points, whatever you want to call them. But you can get up to level 45 instantly. So they have like a quick level thing to get, if you want to get caught up to be able to do the DLC. So I'm guessing being 44, I'm a little bit low. Now, the bright side of this is because there were so many quests to do and stuff, and there's more map stuff for me to complete now. There's more collectibles. There's more places for me to take out. There's all this other content I'm going to do. Even though I beat the story of the DLC, of the Hidden Ones DLC, I didn't complete that new map area. And there's another one in the second DLC. So even once I beat these stories, I'll still probably have another 10 hours of
nice
worth of gameplay to do just to finish collecting stuff. Knock out the achievements to get my score back up to 100%, as I do with Assassin's Creed games. So I'm looking forward to that. It felt good to go back to the game, because I enjoyed it when I played it. But then it's like, all right, I'm done. These community events, they're lackluster. So having a real DLC to play, it felt good to go back to.
Yeah, good. Good.
So then Monday rolls around. Let me double check the date. Actually, correction. Tuesday rolls around. And, I'm working and I'm looking through streams to watch. And on Tuesday, a game release called Yakuza Kiwami 2. Now, did you talk about the Yakuza games, or was that Adam before?
That may have been Adam. I can't remember if he played, how much he's played, but I know I own Yakuza 0, and I believe I mentioned that this is one of those games that I started on. I mentioned in an episode in the past that I started and dropped.
Okay.
And this is another one of those games that has apparently fallen into that you just didn't give it enough time, because so I have Yakuza 0 PlayStation 4, and I was starting it and playing it, and mind you, I think one of the hindrances for me was that I was surrounded by people that have played this game and love it to death, so it kind of put it on a really high pedestal. And when I made my first, I want to say maybe not even an hour or so into the game, it wasn't really grabbing me the way that the hype around it was portraying it. And then, so I stopped playing it. I mean, it wasn't horrible. I was just like, this is okay. I'm not feeling it. And fast forward like 4 or 5 or 6 months, and I began watching the two best friends play their playthrough of it. And I said, you know what? I'm going to give it about 5 or 10 episodes. And if I see shit that really grabs my attention, I'll probably go back to that game. And I forget what episode, but there's an episode way at the beginning where the main character goes and talks to basically other Yakuza bosses, and they explain situation that he's in, and the voice acting and the story that was fixing to open up. I was like, oh, okay, all right, I need to go back and actually give this game some more time, because I feel I'm going to be interested.
Okay. That,
though, unfortunately, is the only Yakuza experience I have at all. So, I believe Yakuza Kiwami is, I don't even know. I hear all, especially Easy Allies, because good God, Michael Huber. I hear people talk about this game. I just don't know what it is. I don't know where it fits in the Persona storyline, timeline, etc. So it's all you.
I'm not sure where Persona comes into it. I think you meant Yakuza timeline.
Oh, Yakuza. Do I have Persona on the mind?
Yeah.
I'm instead of Hive Mind, I'm Persona Mind.
Yeah. So, all right. So I watched Co-Carnage, topical, play this game on Tuesday. He was starting it. I've never played him, so I was like, all right, I'll watch him play it, because I've never played in a series, probably won't. That's fine. So I watched it. I'm like, this game's pretty good. I want to play it. So I stopped watching. I did watch all of his. I think he played like 6 hours of it on Tuesday. So not a ton of it. I did get spoiled by a lot of stuff from Yakuza Kiwami. I'm okay with this because, you know, I did it to myself. You know, I knew what I was going into. It even said, do you want, you know, the game said, when you start Yakuza Kiwami 2, it says, do you want to remember? Talking about remember what happened, you know, in the last game. And he played it out, you know, and I watched it. I probably shouldn't have, but I did. Man, the story of Yakuza Kiwami, even though I didn't see any gameplay, basically only seeing cutscenes and a little voiceover talking about things that happened, that's a good story.
Really?
So I'm like, all right, I want to go back and play that. Well, Yakuza Kiwami 2 are remakes of Yakuza 1 and Yakuza 2. So Yakuza 0 is a prequel to Yakuza. Yes. So I'm like, all right, here's what I'm going to do. I probably don't have time for this because Destiny 2 starts next week, but I'm going to see how far I can get. So I put 11 hours into Yakuza 0. I bought it and Yakuza Kiwami both because they're like $20 each right now. I didn't buy Kiwami 2 yet. I'm going to wait. It probably drop a little bit by the time I'm ready to play it. But I fully intend to play it. So like I said, put 11 hours on Yakuza 0. I have mixed feelings about the game. The storyline is interesting. It's also a little hard to play knowing when I see a character, I'm like, yeah, you're a piece of shit in the next game. You know, so I've kind of, I don't want to say ruined it for me, but it certainly made it a little awkward at times. And the game is older. So it's not a bad game. And it certainly wasn't a bad game when it was released, but it's got a little bit of datedness to it. Not much, but a little bit. And I don't know how much time I'm going to put into it as far as side stuff because I want to get to Yakuza Kiwami. So this might be and I'm making save points fairly regularly. So if I do decide to go back and do side stuff, if I miss something because of, rushing through the story, so to speak, which I'm not truly rushing, but I'm not taking my time to, hunt through nooks and crannies for side stories. I'll probably end up pushing through the game a little quicker just so I can get to Kiwami faster. Because I think that's where the real meat starts. And then Yakuza Kiwami 2. Fortunately, 6 hours isn't enough to really get a lot into story on it. So I'm not super spoiled on it. But just the gameplay differences mechanically between Yakuza 0 and Kiwami 2. Kiwami 2 is so much better, gameplay-wise.
Wow.
I don't know where Kiwami stands in because I haven't seen it or played it yet. But I'm hoping it's more like Kiwami 2, and I expect it will be since it's a remake. And Kiwami 2, I don't think would be a super... would be very different than Kiwami as far as gameplay goes. It makes more sense between 0 and Kiwami. That's kind of how I feel about 0. I'm going to cut you off. I'm sorry. But the story of Yakuza 0 has me interested. But if the gameplay itself is boring to me or not good enough, I can totally see myself just fucking watching the YouTube movie version of Yakuza 0. And to me, that's okay. I've already spent $60, already bought the game. I have contributed to the company. I've given my blood. But and you saying this now has me even further interested because one, I didn't know how these games played as far as prequels, sequels. I knew that Yakuza 0 obviously was a prequel to the whole thing. I did not know that Kiwami was a remake of the first and second one. That's interesting. And I also didn't know that the gameplay would be different. It's like, well, what is it? But
I want to wait.
Yeah, some parts of the gameplay are similar. I mean, combat is sort of similar. Of course, it's not going to be a huge change, but more like the leveling up system or upgrading abilities, buying abilities, whatever you want to call it. That part changes, and it's much better in Kiwami 2. And there are some other tweaks, but the way you find items on the map, that seems to be better. I don't know if Zero just doesn't have a lot of them, but Kiwami 2 is loaded with them. So you actually get rewarded for exploring. In Zero, I run around, I'm like, oh, another dead alley. A dead-end alley, you know. Great. Okay. I'll move on then. Nothing to see here. So it's, yeah, overall, I mean, so many improvements to it, especially quality of life things, I think. But I'm also really curious about the story I'm curious to see how Zero ties into Kiwami. Because I already know how Kiwami ties into Kiwami 2 because of my spoilers. But I'm still interested to play through it myself and actually get the dialogue things, because it's like, even though they show the cutscenes, a lot of them were like edited, and then you didn't get all the dialogue. At points you would see the characters talking, but the narrator would be talking instead, so you can't hear that dialogue. So even though it spoiled it and told you what happened, it didn't give you all the details. So it's not like detailed spoilers. So I think I'll still enjoy playing Kiwami, especially if the gameplay is like Kiwami 2. If it's close enough, I think the gameplay itself would just be worth it. So, yeah, that's kind of I'm like, all right, I need to finish Assassin's Creed. Okay, I want to play Yakuza now. So I went from not knowing what to play to having, several games I'm trying to play at once. And that leads me to today, because I misread your message and thought we were going to be starting later. So I started a game that came out today called 2 Point Hospital.
Okay. All right.
Surprise, surprise, I'm playing another simulation game. Did you ever play Theme Hospital?
No. Heard about it, never played it.
Me neither. Apparently people really liked it. And some of the devs are on the team that made 2 Point Hospital. It's a simulation game, as it sounds. You're managing a hospital, hiring doctors, building your rooms out, doing your, building layouts, hiring, firing people, basically doing all the things you expect to do in a simulation game. Where this has the added entertainment is that it's not a serious game. The diseases are often plays on word or literal descriptions, like lightheadedness. A person walks in and they literally have a light bulb for a head.
Okay.
And the machine that cures them unscrews the light bulb, throws it away, and then places a head on their body. That's the cure. So,
all right.
It is so comical. And I mean, that's just, it's comical gameplay with a good system behind it. I did only play it for an hour and a half today. I saw an early access play of it a couple weeks ago, or no, earlier this week, I think, actually. But it was only like 4 hours of it or so. But it's fun to play. One of the amusing things going along with the, lack of seriousness and how comical it is, there's actually a radio station that plays. That's your background music. And not just does music play, but it actually is like a radio station. You have DJs that come on and speak, and they have personality. There are advertisements that come on that are absurd. It's got so much. I can't think of a good way to describe it. it's just a good feeling game to play. You know, it's a simulation game, which I like anyway, but it also isn't stuck on being too realistic, and it's not serious by any means. The diseases alone, seeing what all they are, and it's like, you know, you got diarrhea mouth, which isn't one that you get a, you know, particular scene for, but, you know, it's each disease has a description too. So the way to describe things is great. There's like pan head. Person has a pan on their head. I'm trying to.
It sounds like it has a very cute charm about it. A very comical, cute charm, and I like that. I can dig that.
Yeah, it does. So I'm enjoying playing it. I'm probably going to play a lot more of it. I have to figure out how I'm going to balance all these, though. That might be one I play when I'm in between stuff. Even though, because it's, as much as I like simulation games, they don't typically end, you know? So it's not going to go, okay, well, I'm going to play it till I beat it, which I probably can, because there are, you know, a set number of places, I'm sure, of quote unquote levels. Because like you start out in the first hospital and you have a set of objectives, and once you complete those, it's like, all right, you can go start your next hospital. And you can go back to your first one at any time if you want to upgrade it or whatnot. But your second one will have a new set of objectives and will unlock more mechanics for you. So it's not like a straight up tutorial system. Even though there's a little bit of tutorial at the beginning. It's like, all right, you need to build this room, hire a doctor, and this is okay, you're started. And then as new diseases are discovered, it's like, all right, this disease has been discovered. This is how we cure it. So it's like, all right, we'll need this room, or this room you already have will heal it, or cure it. So it doesn't hold your hand too much. And it has a nice progression system as you go through the different hospitals. Because like the first one, you just have your main building you start with. Starting at the second one, you can buy additional lots to build buildings next to that one. So on this one quote unquote level, you may have 4 buildings for your hospital when you're done with it. You don't need to do all 4 to do all the objectives. Yeah. But you can expand to have basically wings of your hospital. And as you get into again, Ko is the one I watched play this. I think when he did his early access or early look, it wasn't early access, it was early look at it, because it was the release version. He just got to play it a few days early. I think he beat the 3rd hospital, or he's almost done with the 3rd hospital, or might have just started the 4th. But you certainly need that extra space at that point. It starts getting busier, you get more patients. You know, you're needing more of the same type of rooms. You know, you have your pharmacy. Now you need like 2 pharmacies to keep up, stuff like that. So a lot of management to it. Let's see. That's it for games. I don't know if there's anything else I don't think I forgot anything. Yeah, so that's...
I know there was one other thing that I forgot to mention in my week.
Okay.
I think I brought this up last episode as well, but this is something that maybe either you can help me out, or if anything, you can just hear me out on it. Is, man, I didn't realize exactly how rough it is trying to do pre-orders for games. Now, this also ties into the discussion that we just had earlier about, you know, living in this first world nation and complaining about the ease of access and yada yada yada, but I've been trying my best to. It's such a vast difference of what I used to be like as a gamer, but I'm totally down these days with downloading a game digitally and having it that way. Yeah. The convenience for me is just so much better, and I'm finding that's actually posing rather difficult at times, especially when it comes to pre-orders. If the game's already out, you just go purchase a download code, and then there you go. But pre-orders, I'm finding finding it rough. So my Spider-Man copy, that's releasing on the 7th, I think I actually had to go to the PlayStation Store on PlayStation and purchase the download code for that game, and I was actually able to buy it outright. So I purchased that game, and I'm just waiting for it to release and I can download it.
Sure.
I tried the same thing with Doom Eternal, and I cannot. First place I did go was Steam, and they don't even have Doom 2016 on Steam. So I went to GameStop online. I went to Amazon, and they had them all there. They had all the Dooms, the PC, PlayStation 4, etc., etc. But the PC one wasn't a download code. Now, mind you, this is all taking place. The last time I checked, this was 3 or 4 days ago. So like the 27th, 28th of August 2018. Depending on when this is going to be listened to, this whole thing might have changed. And it might have been changed for every game around it as well. All kind of other games. But yeah, the PC version that I could find on Amazon was just a physical. I say physical because apparently, according to some employees, usually they just send you a code anyway. But it doesn't say explicitly to get the code. It just says you'll receive the game 2 to 3 days. For Prime, you'll receive the game 2 days after it releases. I said, okay, you know what? I don't mind waiting a couple days. I'm a big boy. I can deal with that. This isn't Breath of the Wild 2, you know. I'll be all right. And I added it to my cart, and it was like, all right, here you go. We'll charge you when the game's released. And I said, no, that's not what I want. I want to purchase it now, and not because I have the money now. And I realize again how fucking spoiled this makes me sound. You know, if you have the money, just fucking buy a gift card or draw the money out of your account and set it to the side. I know, I get it. I'm making the case for the accessibility of it. I've got a couple of the games that Ghost of Tsushima. That one I purchased straight off of Steam, and it's when that game gets here, I'll be able to download it. So that's another success story. Kingdom Hearts 3 is another game I want to pre-order. I haven't tried to see if I can download a code for that one or purchase a pre-order download code just yet for that one. And there are a couple other games that I want to go ahead and try to pre-order, but yeah, that's I want to pre-order games, pay for them up front, and I want to pay for the digital version so I don't have to go somewhere and wait in line and show my receipt to have my copy. Mm-hmm. And believe it or not, I'm finding it just depends on per game. That's actually very difficult. Yeah. They don't all do that, and you have to go through some hoops to try to find where to do that at. Yeah, that was another suggestion somebody made, was to just buy a gift card and just have it ready. That way when the money, I'm like, it's even that. No.
Yeah. I want to say that the PlayStation Store would charge you. I don't think I've ever pre-ordered something on PS4. No, I think my Spider-Man copy is already paid for. Yeah.
And that one I pre-ordered through the PlayStation Store. Yeah. So that one lucked out. So that I may be in luck with Kingdom Hearts 4.
3.
And 3, sorry. Man, I'm way in the future. And there were a couple other games I wanted. Resident Evil 2, there's another one. I want to go ahead and pre-order that one, but I haven't checked the I haven't checked the store.
Yeah.
Mega Man 11 was another one. I did pre-order that one through Steam, and I'll have that one ready, but yeah.
Yeah, it's so painful for me with PlayStation. As much as I like the PS4 Pro, you know, as hardware, I hate the freaking Sony store. Mainly because they don't have two-factor authentication. And yeah, my account, like I talked about my account getting hacked and stuff. So when I bought the Yakuza games, I literally went on Amazon, bought 2 of the $10 cards, and then one of the $20 cards, and put the money in my PlayStation account that way, and bought the games immediately. I will not attach a card or my PayPal to Sony again. It's just,
you would think after all the shit they went through, they would have.
They're the only ones that don't.
You know,
I have two-factor authentication
guys.
on Uplay. There's not even billing on it.
Oh, wow.
As far as I know, you know, but I have two-factor authentication there. Have it on Steam, Xbox. I even put it on my Nintendo account recently. They have it. Why?
Sony, you're
Why?
getting out securityed by Uplay. Sit on that one for just a minute.
Yeah, so back to your topic though. I think Microsoft and Xbox, they seem to do theirs like a week in advance now for digital. I got my charge went through for Forsaken, Destiny 2 Forsaken, like 3 days ago. It might have been Tuesday, exactly a week before. So like, okay, I'm good when it comes out.
Yeah.
So Amazon is typically like when it ships or it's about to ship. Which if it's digital, it's when the game releases.
Right. It's just something I wish more companies would get on board with. Because I'm so unfamiliar with the pre-order thing. Like I've only pre-ordered like maybe 5, maybe 10 games total in my life. At this point in 2018, I would have thought this was already a thing. Like I would have thought this is something they've been doing for years. That's the whole point of pre-ordering. I mean, usually when I go to GameStop, for example, and pre-order a game, they even ask you like, how much do you want to put up front? And I'm like, I want to buy it outright. About the whole thing right now. I don't want no layaway. Just give it to me right now.
Yeah,
but,
and I get what you're saying, but I kind of disagree. I like not having the money taken out until the game releases, because if I need that money, I'm hosed out of it. You know, I can't just go. I can cancel my pre-order, but when you're doing digitally, some places it's not always an option. You know.
Yeah. So. Yeah. So yeah, that was it for my week. I guess that was it for your week as well. I just wanted to mention that as my pre-order woes again. I'm such a spoiled fucking brat, but I like it. I like the ability of going, okay, hey, guess what? When these games come out, I've already paid for them, and they're just there. They're coming. I don't have to worry about going anywhere. They're downloading as we speak.
I pre-order tons of stuff.
Yeah. So, on to today's topic. We are going to talk about some of, maybe even for me, maybe all of our favorite content creators. Now, when I posed this to Chris did bring up a good point. I just mentally had in my head about this topic, YouTube channels, because that's the majority for me of content creators. But Chris as well mentioned that, Twitch is another good one, which, yes, duh. Why did I not think of that? I would say for the audience as well, while we're primarily going to be mentioning YouTube and Twitch, it could be any content creator, especially if you wanted to email in and talk about yours, give some shout outs and whatnot, any content creators at all. But I believe, unless I'm mistaken, Chris, this is primarily going to focus on YouTube and Twitch creators.
Yeah.
I have a lot. I'm going to try not to spend fucking 20 minutes on every single one. I'm not going to spend that much. I'm really not. But every time I go through my subscriptions list in YouTube, I'm always astounded. It's especially good, ladies and gentlemen, guys and gals, and Chris as well, to go through your YouTube subscriptions now and again, because apparently the algorithms change so much that there were content creators in here that were producing content that I didn't even see. Yeah. Never came across my subscriptions feed. That pissed me off. And I know why. Like, there's all kind of fucking algorithm reasons why. Like, maybe they had a gap in their production, and that put them in some different production loop, and then blah 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 blah. If I am subscribed to them, YouTube, I want to see their content. I don't care if it's a month between or a day in between. Don't filter shit out. That's the whole point of the subscribe button for me. You know? So yeah, I don't know how we're gonna do this, Chris. We could probably. So do you? How many like Twitch people are we shouting out, or are you shouting out this episode?
I lumped some of mine together too.
Okay.
So to kind of save some time, I won't go. Well, I like this person and this person and this person. Spend 10 minutes on each. I can just say these all stream the same kind of stuff. Like just to throw out, one of my groupings was the GTA 5 roleplay community. I'm probably following upwards of 15 to 20 different streamers that are part of that community. There are a few main ones I watch, but I followed the others. So if I want to see a different perspective, or say nobody else is online or streaming at the moment, I have somebody from that community to watch, and that's sometimes it's just from going to the GTA 5 directory on Twitch and going, all right, who has roleplay in their title for the server I watch? I'm like, all right, there's one, found him. Don't know who he plays, but let's go take a look, For the most part, I'll spend at least a little bit of time in there. I'll probably drop a follow just to, see what happens with their character moving forward. But there are, like I said, several that I watch primarily. And they're typically the bigger ones, and they're the bigger ones for a reason. But like there's Timac, PMS Proxy, Thadrius, and Miggity Man I wrote down as kind of my 4 probably top roleplay streamers that I actively watch on the it's the Family RP is their server. And I've talked about GTA 5 roleplay. It's a very interesting thing. I've even participated for an afternoon. I can't handle the queue times though, so I've kind of backed off that until they unlock either more servers or finally the mod they use cracks the code on being able to support 64 players with AI still. Because right now servers are limited to 32 people. And the queue for the public server is upwards of over 100 at any point in time. And it will literally take you 24 hours plus to get through the queue sometimes. So I don't participate actively. I might in the future, like I said, if they resolve some of those things to make it easier to do. But watching them, that's one of the main things I do right now. The stories they create, it's like watching TV. Someone came into one of the chats the other day and was like, I was actually watching a non-RP GTA 5 speedrunner. Someone came in the chat and was like, I don't understand why someone can watch, role play in this game. It's just like, you don't get it. And that's basically all I said was, it's like watching a TV show most of the time, when you get the good people. Because there are, there's the drama of it, there's the comedy of it, all the things you can pick out about TV shows you like. There are situations where that exact same thing is happening. There are character deaths. People will, perma kill their character in certain situations. Someone else shoots them or something, and based on the situation, oftentimes it's like, all right, you go to the hospital, you get better, blah blah blah. You just proceed with your story. Other times, it's such a traumatic or dramatic situation that's like, I'm done with that character. That character is done. This is how they go out. This character will never be seen again. And then there'll be impacts from that. It's like, oh, that person's gone. This person killed them. If it's known, sometimes it's, there's a recent one where it's kind of well known who did it, what and whatnot. So there's a whole situation around that. But sometimes it's like, yeah, we haven't seen this person in months because the other characters in the story don't know what happened to them, but the viewers know that character was murdered and left out in a ditch essentially, 6 months ago. Wow. And nobody knows. So, based on the story, that's kind of what you're getting as a viewer, which is oftentimes totally different than as a player. As a player, you get your perspective. But then as a viewer, you get to see all the different ones. not to spend too much time on this, but there was a time about a year and a half ago or so where there was a major thing going on where one of the gangs on the server, they did robberies and stuff, but they actually did a bank heist, and it got so dramatic that I had multi-twitch up and I was watching, I think, 8 streams at once. Because I was watching all the criminal perspectives, all the cop perspectives. You know, I would mute and unmute strategically to hear what was going on each side or have them play over each other. And I'll do that. I'll have double audio just so I can hear both sides and what the players are saying, not just the characters. You know, because you get kind of the person streaming, the player, they're talking outside of character as well. Sometimes not. It depends on the situation. But that out of character talk is essentially like the inner monologue of the character that you don't hear from the other person's perspective. It's like, oh shit, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? You know, and then from the other side you hear, oh, I don't know what you're talking about, or something, you know, nonchalant. But the player, the streamer, is essentially panicking, you know, and that gives you that inner monologue of, oh God, what am I going to do? You know? So you get this, like I said, it goes back to, you get these TV show quality situations and experiences. It's not all like that, you know, to be fair. And that kind of, that's a turn off to some people. There'll be downtime, essentially, where not a whole lot's going on. You know, and when people watch GTA, they're like, well, I want to see people shooting stuff and blowing stuff up, but that's not super common in a lot of the roleplay. There are servers like that where it's more action-oriented, but what I watch is more story-oriented, you know, more roleplay-oriented. So when someone gets shot, it should be a big deal, you know. Mm-hmm. If there's an explosion, that's a really big deal, unless it's a stupid AI blowing things up, you know, helicopters flying in the sky type crap. That happens. But typically it's a big deal. Yeah, like I said, there are gangs and all this stuff, so it's quite a thing to watch. And I can understand people not understanding if they don't catch it at good times. Or they catch someone that's not as experienced of a role player. Because it can be rough getting into for new characters. Even for people that have played, a new character coming on the scene, you have to, you know, now integrate yourself into this structure that already exists amongst the other players and characters. But yeah, so I spent way too much time talking about that. But yeah, that's one of my main groups of people I watch right now on Twitch.
My Twitch group, or my Twitch, content creator list is going to be fairly small, almost tiny, compared to Chris's. We'll see how our YouTube stack up, I guess, but, I know I can give a shout out, right off the bat to one of the first, Twitch streamers that I ever subscribed to. It was, I didn't even know that Twitch streaming was a thing until I stumbled upon, like, I knew kind of what it was, but didn't realize how interested I was going to be in some of the things until I found this guy. And he may be still streaming to this day. He may be still putting out content to this day. I'm not too sure. But it's Burning the Midnight Oil Gaming. That entire phrase, just as you heard it. You should be able to put that into Google and go to YouTube. The obvious reason why I started watching this guy is because he streamed at midnight. That doesn't really mean a whole lot of anything these days, because there are people across the country that are streaming at midnight and it's daytime for them. Like, the time zone isn't really a thing, too big of an issue. It's just that I was randomly looking up years and years ago, YouTube video game streams. Twitch streams. I was looking at him at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, found this guy was streaming and started watching. His voice, his personality, his attitude, and also the fact he was playing a lot of games that I liked. So yeah, I used to, back in my older initial dual monitor days, I would have Twitch stream up at 2 o'clock in the morning watching this guy play something. I learned how to download videos. I remember asking him for permission. He's like, dude, I don't care if you can do it. That's fine. It became a lot of background noise, kind of like a lot of my YouTube videos are. And, yeah, pretty cool guy. And, he was one of the first guys that I ever kind of subscribed to, and ever, if anything, he was definitely one of the first people that I followed. It died off over time, as, a lot of content like that does for me. But, yeah, good stuff.
All right. Yeah, and a lot of the people I watch on Twitch also put out YouTube videos. So it's not like I couldn't see their content, on YouTube. But for the most part, I'm more of a watch it live type person, even though it really doesn't matter. Because I'm, typically a lurker. I don't participate in chat a lot. So watching it in the replay doesn't really hurt anything. It's no different. But, it's just kind of the way I watch. The other, I'll stick to Twitch for now. The other big grouping I did for Twitch were the D&D channels. Because, we talked about Critical Role. That's a big one. I know you're holding off after you finished Campaign 1. I've been still following Campaign 2. It'll be on in a couple hours. I'll watch it tomorrow morning, though. So I'm not up all night, since they are focused on, they start late Eastern time. But yeah, so Critical Role, which is on the Geek and Sundry channel, which there's also a Critical Role channel now. I don't know what they're going to do with that long term. I know they've got a couple other shows which don't sound necessarily, well, actually, let's say it doesn't sound, campaign related, which it's not, but I know they just recently announced they're going to be doing a show on the Critical Role channel that focuses on rules and stuff like that. Kind of discussing
like a
mechanics.
Tutorial kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of, things that smaller bite-size rule discussions, talk about one rule in particular, and that's it, instead of just throwing the whole book at someone. So
yeah, I'm not sure how much, I know there's always that one guy behind the scenes. He always comes at the end of the show and is like, hey, thanks for watching, blah, blah, blah. But I could always tell those guys could do their own thing. I always felt like they were part of the Geek and Sundry channel, as in the Geek and Sundry channel or the channel that gave them a shot, or they helped do the production. And I mean, I've seen videos of Geek and Sundry where they're doing stuff with them, but I've said this before, I do not care about the Geek and Sundry stuff at all. I'm sorry, guys and gals of that thing. None of your content really speaks to me. It's a little bit too try hard geeky for my taste.
Sure.
I come to your place because I want to see the Critical Role team. So those guys branching off and making their own thing, they can totally do that. They're strong enough to do that.
I think it might be that Geek and Sundry has so much programming now that a second channel, and breaking off Critical Role, even if it's just a subsection of what they're doing and not the main campaign, breaking them off is gonna open up some, or give more airtime for other stuff, because they have tons of stuff. The one thing, and I don't watch a lot of Geek and Sundry either outside of Critical Role, the one show I would recommend watching is Spell Slingers, which is a Magic the Gathering show. And the The only reason I recommend this is because Day 9 is the one that plays as part of Geek and Sundry. He's not with them. He just does that show. I don't know what their actual relationship is, but Day 9's his own thing. He was a StarCraft 2 commentator and player, or he was a StarCraft player, StarCraft commentator, StarCraft 2 commentator. He's
Shoutcaster or whatever.
Yeah, he is one of the funniest and all around good people you will see on the internet.
All right.
He's very authentic in everything he does, and he is hilarious. What I love about the Critical Role intermission now is I've started, instead of skipping all the way through it, I hover over and look for Day 9 in it, because I know that's Spell Slingers. And what they show in the middle, it's not just an advertisement for it, like they do. It's outtakes. So I will skip in the interlude to these outtakes and just die laughing for 10 minutes until I get back to the show. And it's totally worth the delay.
All right.
But yeah, that's...
I'll take your recommendation.
Yeah. I don't watch a whole lot of Day 9 on his channel right now. Mainly because he's been doing Dota stuff, and I'm not really into Dota. I will occasionally watch him play some other games, which every Friday, I think it is, he just plays some random game all day long. That's kind of almost his day off, from his Dota stuff, from his StarCraft stuff, whatever game. He does a lot of teaching, or learning even. I think right now he's learning Dota is what his thing is. I don't know if he's teaching. I think he's learning, because it's like learning Dota from some pro or something.
Shit, with the money that you can win in Dota, I don't doubt it.
I don't think he's going to compete in it. I think he's just learning to play. He hasn't competed in a while. He actually runs, or helps run. I know he founded it. But there's an After Hours Gaming League, which is a StarCraft 2 tournament for people that work day jobs and literally play at night, for this tournament type thing. Which is pretty cool. He does things like that, though. He's much more of an organizer, commentator type person than player these days, though he still retains his, high masters, grandmasters level play in StarCraft, at least.
Well, I guess this is also a mini shout out to Day 9 then as well.
Yeah, he was actually on my list too. That's kind of why I just went ahead and talked about him some more. But yeah, on Geek and Sundry, I recommend watching Spell Slingers. I like Magic as a game. I don't care about watching Magic, but that show, I love it because they have a random guest every week, and they're not always part of the Geek and Sundry show. It'll be some random actor or YouTuber or, someone semi-famous to famous who may or may not have ever played the game before. And they go one-on-one against Day 9.
Cool.
Yeah. I didn't even talk about the rest of the people in my group. I just talked about Critical Role and Geek and Sundry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
And this is kind of why I was lumping them together so that wouldn't happen. Shame on me.
Yeah.
The other ones, I talked about this before, but It Me JP, he is another one. He was a commentator, I think. By the time I found JP, he was no longer doing that. He was just doing stuff on the side, talk show type things. But what really got me watching him was his D&D thing he started, Roleplay Solemn, which another Twitch streamer by the name of Koibu, Koibu, was the DM for. And it was a very engaging, very good D&D game. So that's the main reason I started watching him at JP. And because that took off like it did, he has gone through several different D&D shows and series, and not just D&D, but I don't know, Pathfinder, but other systems. There's one that's based in space. There's a couple based in space. I'm totally blanking on what the system's names are, but they've gone through, they'll do one-shots with systems, just try them out. And some of those have turned into series, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But I think right now he has three different D&D things that go on his channel. Koibu is doing his own thing now. He has his own shows. He has like 3 or 4 he runs individually. The DEM on JP's channel, he has a couple of different ones, but the main one is Adam Coble. His Twitter handle is something unrelated to his actual name, but I think his YouTube is Adam Coble, and I think his Twitch is Adam Coble, which I don't know what he does on his own channel. I think he does some behind-the-scenes stuff and whatnot. They have a Patreon as well, which I'm not a part of, so I don't know what all content they have there, but just from a Twitch and YouTube perspective, those shows go on both platforms. Twitch gets it first, of course, live streamed, and then the VOD there, and then it's uploaded to YouTube. Like I say, Koibu, he's doing his own thing. His latest show, Assassins, was actually shown on the main D&D channel.
Oh, wow.
So I have mixed feelings about the main D&D channel. Some shows I like, some I don't. So I don't watch a lot of the main channel, but every once in a while I'll tune in just if I want that D&D fix, you know. But there are so many good D&D streams now and channels to watch these on. There are a lot of bad ones too, but there are so many good ones now. It's so nice to be able to go, okay, I want to watch D&D. Let me go check my, favorites. They have hundreds of hours of content I haven't gone through still. And then if I want something fresh, I can go look. So yeah, huge shout out to the D&D streaming community there.
Cool. Another solo dolo Twitch content of mine is Chris. I subscribe to him. No,
subscribe to me once.
That's how we plug right there.
Yeah, and So Michael is a 4-month subscriber to my channel. He subscribed the first month, and I've gifted him the other 3.
Oh wow, yeah. So yeah, and again, Twitch is just not my content creator venue. As Chris said, he likes to check out stuff live as it happens. All of mine comes through YouTube, so my list is very, very small. The only other one that I can really name off, and I can't really say a name because I don't know the person who created it, but if you haven't checked out Salty Bet, you need to go check out Salty Bet. If you're a mediocre just glance and move on fighting game fan, this is up your alley. You just don't know it. This is an unlocked treasure that you don't know. I will say, as a forewarning, you're going to see a lot of anime characters, and that may throw you off if either 1, you're not into anime, or 2, there are just so many anime characters you just don't recognize. I get that, but you're going to have some good matches when the exhibitions come around, when the tournaments come around, and you see all the different character mashups. It's my football. It's another one of my footballs out there. It's watching, and it's all random. There's no player input aside from us betting with fake money. But yeah, that's really about it from my Twitch. I would have to go look and see if I even have any other subscribers, and I think if I do, I either have stopped watching them or they're not even worth mentioning. But
sure.
So to Chris, the Twitch portion is yours until we move on.
All right. Man, I was going through my list earlier, and I was like, I don't even know who to talk about. There's so many. And that's kind of why I grouped them too, because I have I'm looking through my channels I'm following that are just live now, and there's like 6, actually more like, I keep scrolling there, there's more. There's probably like 10 people I'm following right now live that are part of the GTA 5 roleplay community.
Wow.
They're late at night like this. There's so many to watch, and that's why it's so good.
Yeah.
But an individual I watch, I started watching him a while back, kind of died off. I had not really any particular reason. I just wasn't interested in what he was playing at the time. And I've talked about him a lot lately, but that's Co-Carnage. He is a variety streamer. And his big thing is not necessarily family friendly streams, but safe for work streams. He's a very chill guy. His whole thing is, good vibes and positive things.
Yeah.
He's also entertaining as a streamer. Sometimes he goes a little overboard with the soundboard, but he acknowledges that. Not that it's helped. I remember watching him a few months ago. I tuned in for something in particular I wanted to see, and he made a comment about, I'm trying not to use the soundboard as much, and I know a lot of people don't like it, and I'm essentially, cutting it out almost completely. And then I started watching again like 2 weeks ago, and nothing has slowed down. So I guess he ended up realizing it was okay, but it's not in a bad way. I say it more jokingly than anything.
Yeah.
But he's another one.
He enjoys what he enjoys,
Yeah, and he's another one of those streamers that, similar to Day 9, he's just a fun person to watch, Yeah. There are people that their personality grate on you a little bit, which is always rough. You don't want to watch someone like that. So when you find someone that's consistently good to watch, whether that's like Day 9 and he's just such a good person at his core that he's always going to be, fun to watch, or, entertaining, whatever your quantifiers are. It's always nice to find someone like that. And for me, that's kind of what Ko is. He's someone you can always expect to be a solid streamer, give solid content, and he is all about making sure the quality of his stream is the best he can make it. Not like visual quality, but production quality, his personality quality. He made a comment the other day about, you guys can tell when I'm not having fun with a game before I even can. He says, I'm not going to play a game, I'm not enjoying and stuff, because then you guys suffer. And, he focuses on that audience portion more than just about anything.
Really good, man. Really good.
Yeah. So, variety streamer. He played, I think he finished Graveyard Keeper recently. That's where I watched Yakuza Kiwami too, and he's been playing that, so I haven't watched since Tuesday. Because I don't want any more spoilers. But if you don't care about spoilers, it'd be a good stream to go watch it in. God, it's so hard to think about who to mention on Twitch. There's so many. One of the other ones I knew I was forgetting to write someone down after I thought about it. Kind of part of the same kind of community as It Me JP and Co Carnage is Ezekiel the Third. His name's like Ezekiel _III. He's a comedian, just straight up. I think he's actually done stand-up comedy before, but his stream is some of the whereas Ko is, safe for work type streamer, Zeke is not. He holds nothing back, but he's still, a good guy and entertaining to watch. He doesn't go overboard with it. He's not, so crude that he's unwatchable. There are those out there too. He is also one of the three, Co-Carnage, Zeke, and JP. They do a show called Drop Frames every week, where they talk about Twitch-related stuff and video game related stuff. They do like E3 coverage and, stuff like that on their show, and actually do, broadcast during it, when it's going on. But the Drop Frames is every week. Zeke has also participated in the, D&D stuff they do on JP's channel, more than once. I think he's become a mainstay. But he plays a lot of indie games, so you will see him play games that you've never heard of and probably will not hear anyone else talk about ever. Because he will literally just go through the indie section on Steam and go, all right, let's try this one, Or he'll be like, all right, viewers, what indie game should I try next? He does like Indie Sundays and stuff where he'll just play nothing but indie games, at least, 30 minutes to an hour each, depending if he has tons of fun. He may just keep playing it,
Yeah.
He's a good, solid streamer to watch. But yeah, like I said, the main thing about him is he's essentially a comedian, just straight up. I think he's talked about how hard it is to actually, have a stand-up career. But he could certainly do it if he had the opportunity to, I should say. But I'm okay with him being on Twitch. That way I can enjoy it. Let's see. The speedrunning community on Twitch. There are a lot of speedrunners. I watch, like Caleb Part 42. He does several games. The main two games he's known for are Mega Man's and Final Fantasy VII. And I started watching him purely for the Final Fantasy VII runs. He's one of the streamers. I think I found him because he typically streams late at night, and I was working late. I was working nights at the time, and I just needed something to watch. And I was like, oh, hey, Final Fantasy VII? Cool. It's a speed run? Okay. Even cooler. So I watched him. Big John, which is his Twitch name is GameJ06. He does a lot of Mario and Sonic, a lot of old school games. And there's just a whole speedrun community. Pick your game. You're going to find a streamer for it. I think that's it for Twitch. I think I'll leave it at that.
Okay. Yeah. The biggest takeaway for me of all this is that main reason why people really hang around Twitch subscribers or Twitch streamers and content creators is because, it's live.
Mm-hmm.
It is such a understated but very fucking awesome thing about Twitch is that there are people who are doing this stuff right now live. You can watch them, participate with them. You can just watch. You can participate in chat. You can subscribe and get money and have benefits, etc., etc. So, yeah, it is a cool thing. And for the live people out there, it's right up your alley.
Man, thanks for the follow.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I just saw that email.
Give you my.
I thought you were already following me, but that's cool.
Yeah, I thought I was too until I looked at my followers and saw Lightyear. That's Lite year. That's the Burning the Midnight Oil gentleman. And I did not see you. I said, well, wait a minute, what the hell? I was like, motherfucker, I know I'm following Salty Bet. Why is Salty Bet not on here? What are you doing with me, Twitch? Come on, man. So, YouTube creators, this is the bulk of mine. And I did a count, I want to say a few months back, and I had like 70 something subscribers or something channels I'm subscribed to. I did go through and edit a lot of those out because, again, either one, they don't create content anymore, or I just kind of grew out of them. I tried to think of some honorable mentions of ones that I used to subscribe to that I don't anymore. An example is Kadikarus or Kadikarus. He is I want to say he was an Australian. He was either Australian or British. Oh God, how fucked up is that? I don't know which of the two it was, but either way, I was subscribed to his channel for almost a year and a half, and I just kind of, just the content wasn't there for me anymore, and I kind of went on my way. And there's just a handful of other ones that they've just come and gone for various reasons. One of the biggest ones on here that I am not subscribed to anymore, I figured I'd just go ahead and get this out of the way right now, is Game Grumps. This is a big one because even my best friend to this day is still subscribed to Game Grumps, and he loves them. And do not misunderstand, I loved them too, but I'm one of those weird people, man. I don't like change, and I don't like the dynamic that Aaron and Danny have. And it's not a hatred thing against them. It's just, I'm sorry, folks. I know y'all are throwing fucking shit at the screen right now. Are you crazy? What's wrong with you? What does it matter? I just prefer the old days, man. I have been going through the old school, John and Aaron Game Grumps videos. Just, that's the reason why I have them. I just wanted to go back through them and relive those old times from years ago. And I love their dynamic. I've always loved Game Grumps when John was there, and it was John Tron and Aaron Hansen, Ego Raptor. I watched the Game Grumps with Aaron and Danny for a long time, a couple years, 2 or 3 years, but I wish I could put it in. I don't have enough time to put it in enough words. They're not the same, and the dynamic is not the same, and Danny's not the same as John. It's just, I just grew out of them. They were not one of the first YouTube channels I ever subscribed to. They just didn't hold out for me in the long run. So I wish them all the best, man. I hope, they're doing good. I know they were still going onward with, more Game Grumps shows and more games to play and the Star Bomb and all this other stuff. But, yeah, I unsubscribed to them a little. It's like I'm making such a big deal about unsubscribing to somebody, but you have to understand, man, I watched them guys for years and years and years, religiously. And they used to put out like 3 or 4 videos a day. So, yeah, I just want to give a farewell shout out to those guys. Most of my content creators on YouTube are game related. I do have some that are either not or a mix. For example, Wisecrack is a mostly movie analysis. I think they actually have they have a podcast as well, which I just started listening to, which makes the second movie podcast I listen to, the first being CinemaSins. Very good, almost philosophical level breakdown of movies sometimes, and even some games and pop culture things. The Film Theorist, same thing. If you like game theory, this is that, but about movies. And, they put some pretty good content out there. Razor Fist actually is a content creator that I started watching because of video games, but now he has a fair mix of video game content and pretty much political content. I watch it all. I loosely follow the political stuff he rambles on about, but when he tears into video games or bad companies or whatever, or even when he, likes video games, it's good content. The black and white rock and roll metal motif has always been up my alley, and I've been a big fan of that for years. I just mentioned him right now because he's kind of a mix. It's not just video games anymore. Red Letter Media. Come on, folks. If you don't know who Red Letter Media is, you got to give it the program. Half in the Bag stuff is where I started. They have so much more beyond that. And yeah, I'm a big fan. Still have been. Who else on here is not gaming related? Sorry, Chris, just pop it through my list real quick. Comic Pop. Perfect. I have been with Comic Pop since they started. They used to be, oh Lord, it's been so long now, I've forgotten the original, name of who Comic Pop used to be. Was it Little House Media? Comic Pop. Now I gotta look it up because now I feel bad. There was like something house, Little House, TV Little House, something like that. Anyway, they are now called Comic Pop. They rebranded a year or so ago. This is for people that are loosely into comic books and you'd like to learn more. One of their flagship shows, so they have several. They have one that's I almost said half in the bag. The main one that I go to Comic Pop for is back issues. They are anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour a piece, but they basically take entire comic arcs. And the catch of the show is it's one guy who is very, very well versed on comics, explaining large comic arcs in detail to two guys who didn't grow up with it and are not that familiar with it. So and they've got, I don't know, over 100 of these back issues by now. And it's a lot. It's a lot of good content. If you want to have, the Age of Ultron explained to you, if you'd like to have, or told, it's almost like a storytelling in a way. If you want to have the Dark Knight series told, etc., etc. If you ever wanted to learn about, the Skrull or stuff like that, it's a lot of good detail, a lot of good information. I have been with those guys since I think I was like their 70th subscriber or something like that. Good stuff, man. Really good stuff. Last but not least, for the non-gaming related stuff, CinemaSins. This is the Everything Wrong With series is what hooked me to these guys. They go through movies. Yeah. They go through movies. They literally analyze a movie down to the detail and point out blatant, obvious mistakes, oversights. There's no way this can work because of this, etc., etc. It sounds kind of nerdy-ish and booky-ish, but it is very entertaining to hear them. It's entertaining. And again, I'd also suggest if you're into movie stuff, they have a CinemaSins podcast, several episodes up at this point. The biggest takeaway from their podcast for me is that I believe almost all of them in that podcast either do or have used to work at a movie theater of some sort. And the stories they have is, it's great. So that's it for my non-YouTube gaming creator or YouTube content creators. Do you have any, Chris?
I also subscribe to CinemaSins. I haven't watched them in a while. There's also, let me double check that this is the right channel. Yeah, Bat in the Sun. They do a lot of versus battles, kind of like what's the other one? Screw Attack?
Death Battle,
yeah.
I thank you for, I got to mention them. This is a weird thing about YouTube. I'm sorry to cut you off again, Chris, but there are other YouTube content creators out there that I have to just search for and kind of watch their episodes in bulk over time and Death Battle is a prime example. I can't subscribe to Death Battle because Death Battle puts out, they're under Screw Attack. So I have to subscribe to Screw Attack. Well, Screw Attack has 15, 20 other shows they produce, and I don't watch all the other shows. I really only watch Death Battle. So yeah, it's sucky how that works, but yeah, I only have a couple of them. Death Battle is one of them where I do watch them. I watch every Death Battle and every Death Battle exhibition, but I don't subscribe to them because I don't want to see the 40 other notifications in my subscription feed.
Yeah. Bat in the Sun is similar. Their show is called Superpower Beatdown. I think is what they're calling it. Just looking at like what their latest ones were. They did Winter Soldier versus Nightwing, and Joker versus Negan from The Walking Dead. Boba Fett versus Star-Lord. They have a couple other series like The Waiting Room, which is essentially like the old Beetlejuice thing where they're, sitting in the waiting room and it's essentially a short skit, roughly 2 to 6 minutes, it seems like. Let's see. Now, it's kind of curious how many people I was actually subscribed to because YouTube used to be my main thing.
Yeah. And
I have 123 channels I'm subscribed to on YouTube, which is pretty good amount. So I was like, how many do I have on Twitch? I have 232 on Twitch that I'm following.
Wow.
So I've got quite a bit of things, but some people I need to go through it because some of them probably don't even stream anymore, just to clean it up. But I don't mind. Let's see, College Humor. I haven't watched them in a while, but they produce some really good stuff. Jake and Amir, which they're off doing their own thing now. I don't think they're affiliated with College Humor anymore. But that's one of my favorite series on there. Let's see. Crash Course. There's a channel called Vlog Brothers. I'm not familiar if you've ever, I don't know if you're familiar with the Nerdfighter community or anything. It's pretty old at this point. But that was based on Vlogbrothers in the early days of YouTube. And Crash Course is one of the offshoots they did, and it's a educational channel where they did different series going to different subjects, science, history, other aspects of social studies. But they did, educational videos focusing on like one time period or something, or, I didn't watch the science one much. I mainly watched the history one. But it was just interesting to watch, because it's one of the things where I'm sort of interested in history a little bit. And so it's neat to, watch and see, do I know any of this stuff? Do I remember any of it? Let's see. And I know like a third of my YouTube channels I'm subscribed to are also Twitch streamers, and I'm following them on both. Let's see. Not game related. D&D stuff, but that's all pretty much people I talked about already. The slow-mo guys, that's a huge channel. And I just actually got caught up on them today, where they oftentimes blow stuff up and record in slow motion. Always fun to watch. I think that's it for my non-gaming related.
Gotcha. Well then, I guess I'm going to move on to the gaming stuff. This is the bulk of my content creators and definitely the bulk of my YouTube channels. I just mentally decided I'm just going to kind of rapid fire up the list, about 4 or 5 of these at a time. And this is mainly just shout outs, guys. This is, YouTube for me is my TV. I'm sure that lots of people come home from a day's work. They flip the TV on. That's what it used to be back in the past. It was flicking the cable onto the satellite. These days, it's usually Netflix, or some type of streaming service like that. We don't have that in our house because there's just nothing on there we really care about. So when I come home and I'm watching TV while I'm playing games, it's YouTube channels. It's YouTube channels I'm subscribed to and watching on the content that they've made. And this is no particular order because I'm just reading off kind of the way and just going up the list of the subscribers I have. So, I already talked about Rageaholic. Again, he's a good guy, good stuff. The D-Pad. This is one I've subscribed to over the past, recently, about the past year. These guys are criminally undersubscribed, in my opinion. They put out really good quality content work. They're much like many, up and coming YouTube people. They like record in their house, but their audio quality is good. They have so many videos. The thing that twigged me on them originally was, they have a Mega Man, mega channel, basically, or playlist, where, they're going through every Mega Man game ever created and doing a Let's Play of every Mega Man game. And it's anywhere from one person. Typically, it's 2 to 5 people. Usually 2 or 3 is the typical that you'll find. And that's something I've noticed about YouTube subscribers. The main ones that I hover around are ones that have a dynamic between at least 2 people. Watching one person just let's play a game, not really my thing, but watching a couple people talk and banter back and forth, or 3 or 4, I like that. The Mega Let's Play, that's just one of these mega things that they've done. They have a Supersonic Let's Play where they're going through every Sonic game ever made, and they're Let's Playing every one of them. They have a Dreamy Let's Play where they're playing every Kirby game. They have the Legendary Let's Play. They're playing every Zelda game, etc., etc. These guys have a lot of content, good commentary, good folks to listen to and watch play. And again, just the amount of content they have. I'm looking at their subscribe page right now, August 30th, 2018, 10,000 subscribers. This blows my mind because these guys have so much stuff out there. But they're good people. Check them out. I enjoy them. The Completionist is another one. He's one I've been subscribed to for a long time. He's gone through a couple changes here and there, most notably losing his co-host, Greg Wilmot back in the day. But the completionist himself is the completionist, and I think he rocks everything on his own. Long story short, the completionist is basically what his name is. He 100% every video game he plays, and he gives critical reviews of them as well. Gives a kind of a score, what he thinks given the content of the game. Should you play it or complete it or 100% it or steer clear of it, good channel, long time subscriber to that guy. Super Derek RPGs. He's one that I've recently subscribed to, but I have watched his content off and on for years. He focuses mainly on RPGs, which is right up my alley. He gives very slow paced but very methodical reviews and detailed reviews of RPGs. All across the board, all generations, all platforms. It's good stuff. He definitely has some that are segmented into particular ones that I like. Like I know he has an entire Suikoden section. It's only 5 or 6 movies, I believe, but I mean it's good analysis type stuff. Super Eye Patch Wolf. I heard about this guy through Two Best Friends, and I've watched all of his content since then. He does a mix of anime and video game stuff. Very critical analysis, but very down to earth, no nonsense, common sense reviews of things. Critical analysis is what I take away from this guy. A lot of deep thinking when it comes to this stuff, and it's good content all around. Super Bunny Hop is another guy that I subscribe to because of Two Best Friends, or as they know now as Super Best Friends Play. Same thing. He has a lot of critical analysis of video games, the industry as a whole, and etc. Good content. Before I pass the mic over to Chris, the biggest, this is, I really shouldn't mention this one right now, but fuck it. I didn't have an order and that's my fault. Super Best Friends Play. This is one of the first that I've ever subscribed to, right alongside Game Grumps back in the day. I think 2009 or 10, somewhere around that time was when these guys started. The premise was it was two best friends that play video games. Eventually they brought on, Wooly, and there was another co-host, Liam, the rising superstar Liam. Liam has since left on good terms. He's done his own thing and just didn't have time to, stay with the group anymore. If you check the channel today, it is Matt and Pat and Wooly. And I watch every single piece of content these guys do. This is my number one YouTube channel. They have tons of Let's Play videos. They have tons of games that they run through, tons of series. They have a podcast that, if I'm not mistaken, is now 261 episodes strong, and I listen to every single one of them. They have steered away from the gimmick that they started out with, which is two best friends that kind of argue and yada, yada, yada. You could tell in their early months of their show that they kind of ran with that gimmick. Now it's just three guys that play games and have lots of good content out there, man. Also, a little insider note, I believe all three of them have actually been physically in the gaming industry in some way, shape, or form, to the point of, I think all three of them were game testers. They may have all worked together in the same company or two now and again. So they do have a little bit of insider knowledge of things like that, but that's not even like that. Just hearing these guys banter, the chemistry between them, the things that they talk about, hearing them play the games, and watching them play games it's the most entertaining I have. They have trumped out Game Grumps for me, and that definitely says something. So, big shout out to these guys and everything they do. I will be watching these. We will be watching them and listening to them as long as they're producing content. To the point of, I know some, YouTube creators have jumped ship to Amazon Prime or Amazon streaming. I have not followed any of them. That's including Classic Game Room. That's a channel I was subscribed to back in the day because he produced all his content on YouTube. Classic Game Room his gimmick was, I say gimmick loosely, politely, but his gimmick was he was on a mission to play every single video game ever, and he gave 5-minute to 10-minute reviews on every game. He produced content daily. Well, he's went to Amazon, and I just haven't followed him over there. Wish him all the best. I hope good things going for him. But I'm telling you right now, if Super Best Friend said, fuck you too, we're going somewhere else, I don't care if it's Vimeo, I'm following these guys, because they are my go-to. They are my main slice of cake. So Chris, how about something from you, buddy?
Yeah. I'm looking through my list, and it's so sad that I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that, and I'm like, I haven't watched them in years, or they don't have a number next to their thing indicating any recent videos. There's one in particular. There it is. Another non-gaming one related one I completely forgot about and skimmed over on the list is Regular Ordinary Swedish Mealtime.
Okay.
I have a friend I met through Final Fantasy XI who is Swedish, and he told me I had to watch videos on this channel. They are great. Think about, like the cooking YouTube shows, whatever. But just think about, a cooking show, but imagine it being done by a Viking.
Okay.
That's basically the vibe you get from these guys. Like, they'll chop stuff with an axe, like a literal axe, battle axe. And it's essentially a parody, but they have, their gimmicks and stuff, but they're legitimately cooking something, but they make a mess while doing it. In the intro of the video, they say they're speaking in Swinglish, because it's mostly English, a little bit of Swedish mixed in, but never enough to, make you not understand the video. It's hilarious. They've changed over time, kind of their format somewhat. But I think that's mainly just because like the main person moved and stuff. I haven't watched them in a while. I need to see if they're actually still updating. Wow. 2 years.
Can I interject another non-gaming one that you just made me think of?
Sure.
I have unsubscribed to them for, I don't even know if they produce content, but it's okay because I've bought merchandise from these guys. I watched all their videos back in the day. Me and my wife both did. Epic Meal Time. Mm-hmm. Speaking of cooking shows, this show I loved. I could not get enough of this shit. Their gimmick was they take ingredients and make huge fucking gigantic meals out of all kind of shit. Like they've made like a gigantic hamburger, a massive lasagna. They've taken like fast food from different places and put them in the same container, made like gigantic smorgasbords. I know I'm doing them a disservice because it's been so long since I've watched those guys, but hilarious. Good stuff. Me and my wife both have matching bacon strips and bacon strips t-shirts. We love that show. If I can't hook you with this, nothing will. The funniest line for me, and trust me, they got content, so this might not be it for you, but the funniest line for me, there was an episode where they were doing a meat salad, because they were like, fuck being a vegetarian, we want meat salad. They were using roast beef for lettuce, they were chopping up cubed ham for croutons, and so on and so forth. The episode starts out with Harley throwing down the meat stuff on the counter, and he goes, "Caesar's a bitch. You know how I know? They named a salad after him." I was like, I am sold. I am sold. That wasn't the first thing I ever heard by them either, but that's just an example of they're very intense with the cooking and the making of the stuff, and their formula works. So, just want to shout out my little cooking thing for those guys.
Yeah, and it looks like Regular Ordinary Swedish Mealtime hasn't uploaded a video in 2 years now, which is sad, but I think they kind of go through stints like that where they don't upload for a while, and then they do, and I don't know.
Hey, it's a great thing about YouTube being where it is, man. You tell people that this is a good show, they can click on YouTube right now and search for it. There's your content. Go watch. Go see that Chris is not lying to you, buddy.
Let's see. Yeah, gaming related. A lot of the ones I have a lot of Rooster Teeth related stuff, which I will individually shout out Achievement Hunter. Because even though I'm talking about this on YouTube, I actually watch it on the website, the Rooster Teeth website. You can filter by Achievement Hunter, so that's just what I do. And I watch all their stuff. There are other stuff Rooster Teeth does that I like, but Achievement Hunter is my main jam. That's my go-to every day. They release a video around 11 my time. So whatever I'm watching, I'll, if there's something I'm really interested in on Twitch, I'll watch it until I'm bored with it or they go offline. But more times than not, I'll just pause or mute whatever I'm watching on Twitch and go refresh the page and watch the latest Achievement Hunter video. And I have subscriptions on Twitch and YouTube to several of just the Achievement Hunter team. Most of them have an individual channel on either platform. Rooster Teeth, of course, they have their Red versus Blue. It's a classic. Of course, with anything you get into, like they're on the 13th season now.
Yeah.
It starts to get to be a bit much. And it kind of, I don't know. I don't want to say that it's stale because I don't think that's the right word, but it's not as engaging as it used to be.
Yeah.
And it's hard to do one-liners for a decade and a half.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I feel you, man. I wouldn't say that I was subscribed to them, but they were definitely a YouTube channel that I found back in the day and was like, oh, this shit's great. Fucking Halo videos. And of course, Chris, this was back in our prime time Halo days too. So
yeah, I mean, we found them before YouTube was a thing.
Yeah.
This is their website.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm the same way, man. After around about the third, fourth, or fifth season, it was like, that's So
yeah, still
good stuff though.
Yeah, some seasons are better than others. There was a lull around that point. Some of the later ones were pretty good. I haven't watched the latest one, maybe 1.5 so far. But I kind of wanted to wait till the end of a season and just watch all at once. One of those I want to do that on. Let's see who's not part of them. I have a lot of esports related stuff. Whether it's actual leagues, like I was talking about Day 9's After Hours Gaming League is on YouTube. There's a channel dedicated to that. He also streams it on his channel on Twitch. I had what is it? Not ESL. Though I had MLG I'm following, because I was watching stuff on there. But most of that is all on Twitch now. Let's see. I'm trying to think of things that kind of lumped together somewhat, or not lumped together. Yeah, I have a lot of members of other channels, yeah. StarCraft 2 players that I just followed back in the day or subscribed to on YouTube. Yeah, I have a lot of esports related stuff. I think the other big thing for me on YouTube, and this is something that I think I actually prefer watching on YouTube, but it is Minecraft. Of course, Minecraft on YouTube is huge. Minecraft on Twitch is huge. That's just insane, whatever you want to call it. But one of the big channels I follow along with is actually Yogscast. They play other games too, but they have a very comedy-based way of playing Minecraft. There are typically at least 3 of them playing at once. Sometimes they have upwards of 6 people playing, I think. And they have sub-channels too, where it's like 2 of them together. Let's see, it's, there's one I saw at the top of my list, I thought. But like Duncan has his own channel and whatnot. I think the main one though, I don't know there's actually a main Yogscast channel. I'd have to actually look. But like the main one is, or main couple is like Yogscast, Lewis and Simon, and then Yogscast, Nilesy, and it's kind of odd, actually, if you think about the way they've done it, because it's divided up into these sub-channels, but they all are often play together on these series. Like I think all of their Minecraft series are on the Lewis and Simon channel mainly, and that includes a lot of others. Yeah, I say that now I can't find the any of their playlists. Yeah, they're very confusing. I just kind of watch them on Twitch now every now and then. But trying to figure out where their stuff is on YouTube is a little confusing at times. But despite that, they are very amusing to watch. Like they have their Galacticraft Minecraft playthrough. It's a mod where, as it sounds, you go to space and stuff. And that's kind of where I really was introduced into the modded Minecraft, was Yogscast videos.
Yeah. I've heard the name Yogscast all over the place, so I'm just gonna assume that they got some good content out there.
Yeah, they're huge across the pond. I mean, there are some other Minecraft channels. I don't even think I watch any of them anymore, but I did back in the day. There were, there's so much stuff. Like I have other Achievement Hunter family channels, like Funhouse is now part of them. I don't subscribe to Screw Attack on YouTube, but I do sometimes watch Funhouse on YouTube. I don't think they actually do a lot of live streaming on Twitch. They do live streaming on YouTube, and they have actually a essentially 24/7 stream of old stuff on there. I haven't watched it much. I think I tuned in a couple times, but I think I'd rather just go to watch the videos at that point because they're just showing reruns, so it's no different than me loading up a video, except I have no control over what's playing, you know? So it's an interesting concept of having that always on, because you kind of get, first off, you get bumped to the top of the list because you're live on the subscribers list. But I don't know. It is what it is.
Yeah.
I think that's about it for me for YouTube. Worth mentioning.
Well, then, I got my work cut out for me because I got 62 more to go. No, just kidding. All right, let's go some more rapid fire from Michael. Let's see if he can do it. All right, Some Call Me Johnny, another channel I found a couple years ago. This guy has definitely improved. This guy is a case study has come into his own. I was back with him when he kind of around the time when he first started. I've much like half of the subscribers on here, I couldn't even tell you how I found this guy. I think I was asking for YouTube recommendations, and this guy got recommended. Glad I did. If you go back and watch his early stuff compared to now, the format is still the same. I mean, this is a guy that just talks to the camera and reviews videos, but he's found his own voice now. It's definitely a different Johnny compared to what it used to be. A lot of games that I'm interested in, he reviews. He does series, stuff like that too. Just good content, just good review, good commentary. Pro Jared. I'm pretty sure people have heard of this guy. Same thing with, I'll lump these two together, and Peanut Butter Gamer. They are definitely not the same person, but they have some of the similarities. Both of them do reviews of video games. The main thing that I have taken away from Pro Jared recently, and I know this kind of sucks because it's only an annual thing, but he has a series called D&D December. Dungeons and Dragons December. And I think he's only done it for a couple years now. He just either goes through the rule book sometimes and explains, kind of some rule stuff to people that are trying to get into D&D, or he tells stories about him DMing and or playing, and some fun stories. But he also has other video. Predominantly his channel is video game related. Got a lot of great YouTube reviews out there. Same thing with Peanut Butter Gamer Man. He's a video game reviewer, but the funny thing about him, he puts a hilarity spin on all of his stuff. He's a little wacky, a little zany, very funny content creator, game reviewer. Oh, part of the Normal Boots Brigade, and I like the guy. Matthew Matosis, another game reviewer. You're going to see a trend. A lot of these are just game reviewers. Same thing with the guy right above him and the guy right above him too. Holy shit, there's 4 of these in a row. I can shout them out all at the same time. Matthew Matosis, King K, High Level Reviews, and Hellfire RPGs. All 4 of these, they are all different in their own nature. I'm just lumping them together because that's predominantly what you'll get from them. Just critical analysis of games, game series, the industry as a whole, all that stuff. I think King K was one of the newest ones that I found. He did probably about an hour and 20-minute analysis of Breath of the Wild, and definitely liked the content he put out, and went around and found his other videos, and I'm subscribed to him now. A lot of good review stuff. I think he's done some Sonic videos as well. High Level Reviews and Hellfire RPGs. I think they do a lot of RPG stuff, so that's kind of what ticks me to them. Matthew Matosis does kind of a good mix of game review stuff. Good stuff. Giant Bomb. I can't believe how criminally late I came to the show when it comes to Giant Bomb. I think these guys have been doing shit for 10 years now, over a decade. Their podcast is about like 560 or 570 episodes long, and they started that a couple years after their show started. So you guys do the math. They've been around here for a long time. The fact that they only have 237,000 subscribers, that's crazy to me, because right above them I see the Gaming Historian, who has 468,000 subscribers. Holy shit. Giant Bomb is a big name in the gaming world, man. If you don't know who Giant Bomb is, I don't know how I do, because even I didn't know. I didn't know until I knew. And I have subsequently had to go back and listen to their podcast. I think I'm like 60% through. That's a lot of shit, because they're the first ones that I saw that, podcasts are like 3 hours long, huh? That's okay? Oh, okay, cool. That's normal. So if you talk about us having a long podcast, you can blame Giant Bomb. They're the first one I saw that said, yeah, that's normal. They also have a lot of other channel stuff they do. They have Let's Plays. They do quick looks where they'll pick up a game and play it for, half an hour to an hour and give you an analysis of what's going on. They're pretty new on the game content. A new game comes out, they've got a quick look up, a couple days in advance. And again, like I said, they have the podcast, so good material. A Gaming Historian, way different than Giant Bomb. As the name implies, he goes through in-depth analysis of history of different aspects of gaming. He'll look at peripherals. He'll look at game companies. He'll look at game consoles, etc., etc. And I've been with this guy for a long time as well. Really good analysis of the history of video game stuff. He really pays tribute to his own name, the Gaming Historian. Easy Allies. These guys I've talked about on this podcast several times. They used to be game trailers. Game trailers went defunct about 2 or 3 years ago, and these guys got together and said, hey, that company may be dead, but we still want to do stuff. So they in the garage of one of the creators, the original creators. They produce a plethora of different shows and podcasts and reviews and all kind of stuff. My hat is off to these guys for not giving up. They're passionate about the industry. I originally even knew about Easy Allies through one of their lead guys, is Kyle Bossman. I will tell you, if you want a good guy in a suit giving critical analysis and waving the finger at the gaming industry, go watch the Kyle Bossman show back in the Game Trailer days. I'm sure those episodes are still up. But you don't just get Kyle Bossman when you subscribe to Easy Allies. You get all of those guys. They all have their own individual personalities. They have their own takes on games and the industry as a whole, etc. They've been doing this. They've been in the gaming industry for a long time, and good stuff, man. Really good stuff. Did you know gaming? I don't think this is another one. It's not really just one guy. I think there is one guy that produced the show or created the idea, but they usually have different guests come in. And it's just, they go through games and they give you a bunch of facts that you may have never known about a game, or a series, or a console, etc., etc. I've been with Did You Know Gaming since back in the day when they were picture format. You know, they do a YouTube channel now, and I think they went back to the picture format for a while. I think they do both, but I haven't seen the pictures in a long time. It was just a picture of like the game or a screenshot, and they would give you a bunch of facts of, hey, did you know? So it's good stuff. Continue is another one of my original channels. I've been with them since they were one of my first YouTube channel subscriptions. 3 guys sitting on the couch, they'll play games, hilarity ensues. They have good personalities. I like their interactions with each other. This is one of the first channels that even got me into podcasts to begin with. And it wasn't even their podcast. It was, I'm sorry. Yeah, it was the Continue Cast. I'm sorry. One of their co-hosts did him and another co-host did a offshoot show called Fantasy Fiction, another podcast I suggest every one of you check out. And they sat down and wrote what it is. It's fantasy fiction. They would write, about dragons and gnomes and clerics and stuff like that, but they wrote it in a hilarious manner. The stories that these guys created, hilarious. But that was an offshoot. That was a couple of the co-hosts. The Continue had a Continue podcast. They used to be kind of like a book club format. The idea was they wanted you to sit down and play the game as you were listening to them, and they would talk about the game. They would review it, give analysis of it. They have 2 episodes for one game. And they were the first podcast that I ever listened to, the first podcast I ever subscribed to religiously. It was this podcast, and I want to say it was just this one, and maybe I was also into fantasy fiction at that time, but they got me through a deployment, bar none. And I even sent them either a Facebook message or something, and I think Nick got back to me. I told him, I was like, man, you guys are the reason why I'm even on a mic right now. We are nowhere near as popular as you guys, but I wanted them to know, like, they inspired me. So the fact that you hear me and Chris just talking on a mic right now for me is thanks to Continue. Clemps. I think this is actually the last one. I don't even know what took me to this guy either. His stick was, he has a white t-shirt and yellow rubber gloves. That's his visual, but he reviews games and reviews series, and he does it in a hilarious way, and points out obvious flaws and stuff like that, and gives critical analysis to things. I think recently he's done a good Kingdom Hearts analysis. That's one of the games I've been trying to get back into and get knowledge on, and his video has helped me. But again, that 20-minute breakdown was the best thing ever. And yeah, that's it for my YouTube stuff, man. Again, this stuff is my TV, man. Every day when I get home, I'm refreshing my YouTube screen and seeing what content's out there. And I would say binge watching, but this is damn near like me watching TV. You know, this is damn near what people used to do back in the day. You know, they come home from work and they turn the TV on and swap the channel to 29 and watch whatever. That's the same thing I'm doing now. It's just I do it with YouTube. I can tell you from my end, and I can speak for Chris as well. Everybody we've mentioned, if you guys, man, I'd say go back in the episode. I guess I should have said it earlier, but get a pad and a pen out or something. Get a notepad pulled up on your screen or something and make a list, because these are all good YouTube content creators and Twitch content creators, and at a minimum they're worth a free subscription. They're worth you just tagging them, being like, hey man, I checked you out. If even one of these that Chris has mentioned or one of these that I've mentioned are up your alley, it'd be good. It'd be nice to know that these guys and gals are not going unnoticed. I guess that's going to do it, Chris. You got any last mentioned or any ones you forgot? Or
nah,
I think
I'm good.
Probably gonna, yeah. It's a really good current rundown too. I mean, maybe we can address this. You know, maybe we could probably make this like an annual thing. Like, hey, this is who I've added. This is who I've gone away from. But right now, these are all definitely all of my subscriptions. And aside from the ones that I'm not subscribed to but check off and on, I mean, I've got content for days. This is my TV, folks. This is awesome. So I put that to you then, audience. What YouTube, Twitch, or anything around that content creators do you subscribe to? What are your favorites? What ones have you been with since their beginning or been with the longest? Why do you like those content creators? What do they do that appeal to you? Why do you pick them above? Because, man, there's content creators all over the place. So what made you pick them? What made you stick with them? If you have ones that you don't watch or check live anymore, like, why not? What made you go away from them? Plenty of YouTube or Twitch content creator stories out there, I guarantee, and we love to hear about them. Or anything else that we talked about today, any of the games we mentioned, anything you want to talk about. We love to hear feedback from you, I promise. There's many ways to get us that feedback. You can find us on Facebook. Just search for End of Timecast. It'll take you to our main page where we post all the updates for the episodes. It may be how you found this episode right here. We have a traditional email. You can email us at endoftimecast@gmail.com. That's endoftimecast@gmail.com. No funny numbers in there. Just spell it as you heard it. We have a Twitter page. You can find that and tweet us, whatever you want to do. Any way you want to get us content, I promise you, at this early stage, still at episode 56, Chris?
Yes, this is episode 56.
You probably at this point still going to get it read. And we'd love to just hear feedback, man, just in general. I would love to hear people, or read people email us and give us their thoughts. Interaction is probably the second most important reason why I even get on this mic and do this. So, anything you want to discuss, talk about, gripes, comments, complaints. Exactly. Anything at all. We would love to hear from you, audience, even if it's just to say, hey, be nice. And yeah, that's going to do it for this episode. And until next time, I'm Michael.
I'm Chris.
Good night, everybody.